a tournament. It's what you don't see on TV. The cash is real. The stakes are high. They bet big. They win big. They lose big. High stakes live action poker. Live at the bike. Watch it live on the web or play it if you dare at the Bicycle Casino right here in Los Angeles.
Hello and welcome to Live at the Bike. How you doing? I just want to let you know we have a new sponsor. We've got shredded wheat, folks. Bite-sized shredded wheat. It's not just cereal anymore, okay? You can use it, dip it in your olive oil. Tastes real good, okay? Learn this from Bart Hansen himself. Anyway, we've got 1020 No Limit Hold'em tonight. Action should be great. We've got some guest commentators coming in and out of the booth all night long. Usual fare, we've got, Bert and Russ and Dr. Beebe and all that, and the action's great. Unrestricted game. Let's head over to it. Seat number 1, we've got good old Bert. And you never know what you're going to get from Bert. Now, Bert was taking lessons from Mo. Be interested to see how he plays. Seat number 2, we got Kirk. Kirk's a pretty tight player, ABC kind of guy. Has trouble getting away from some big hands occasionally. We'll see what he does tonight. Seat number 3, we have Josh. Now, Josh jumped in that 25-50 game on Wednesday night. Really didn't have a good showing. Let's see if he can redeem himself tonight. Seat number 4, that's midnight. It's Hav. And hasn't been on Live at the Bike in quite some time. He kind of was playing the big games, took some bad beats, jumped back into that 300 to 500 game, and now he's worked his way back up here. He's a real solid player, one of the better players in the game. Seat number 5, we've got Georgian. Who really cares? Anyway, we call him the Greek poker god here, and we'll see how he plays tonight. Seat number 6, we've got Hollywood Russ. Sport the shades. Seat number 7, we've got Dr. Beebe. We had his son on here last night, and Dr. Beebe is probably one of the tightest players you'll ever see. Now, pre-flop, he's not necessarily that tight, but post-flop, it's amazing people still give him action. It really is. Seat number 8, we've got Action Mo, or not Action Mo. You never really know what you're going to get from him. He is our no-limit host here at the Bicycle Casino, running it. And seat number 9, that's Alan. I'm David Tuckman. I'll be doing the commentary all night long, play-by-play, color, such. If you want to keep the show interactive, you can go to 2plus2.com, follow a live thread that's started every night. Go to forums, go to World Poker Tour and other events, and then go to Live at the Bike for May 12th. And join along. You can also email us at live@thebike.com. Try to keep the show as interactive as possible. First hand, button is over in seat number 2. Couple of limps in there. Kirk's got a king, I want to say king-queen. The lights are on it. There it is. It is king-queen. And he's going to put a little raise in there on the button.
140.
Wow, it makes it 140 to go. After a couple of limpers, that is a big raise, but should do the job. Hobbs not going to play. I can't imagine Beebe playing this. And Mo is going to call, though. And Mo's going to call with pocket 3s. He's out of position. And not a great flop for 3s, but Mo does have a gut shot. But Mo's going to put some money out there. See where he's at. Now, Kirk's a tight player, and Kirk's going to throw this away. Now, you figure that Mo was probably hoping that Kirk obviously had like some sort of pair, maybe pocket 9s, pocket 10s, pocket jacks. And Mo figured, okay, I can hit my set, but maybe if an ace comes out, I could represent the ace. Mo might even be doing the stop and go there.
I don't appreciate that.
Bart is in Chicago for, I guess, Mother's Day. Went out there to see his mommy and have some shredded wheat. Bart moves over to seat number 3. Unfortunately, Jonas is not going to come in tonight. I thought we were going to have him all night for about an hour of commentary. We also thought we were going to have Corporation Mike and Jason Cacciatani. Unfortunately, all 3 players bailed out on us. But we will get a couple other players on the table. Kind of get poker through their eyes and see what's going on. Queen 6-3, a couple of spades out there. And we got a couple of queens out there. Seat number 5 and seat number 6 both have queens. And George is going to put a little feeler bet out there. And he puts out a little $110 bet. He gets called by Russ. Third spade out there. And Russ is at queen 7. We don't have it up there. But he does have queen 7. And the river is going to pair the board. It's going to be a 6. And they're going to chop this up. River saved Russ there. Obviously, Hold'em is always a game of kickers. And you can see George's 8 probably would have played had, say, a board not paired or card less. And he would have won the pot. Button moves over to seat number 4. So I was thinking with this shredded wheat when Bart comes back, we can have Tracy kind of feed it to him or something like that. Button moves over to seat number 4. That's how blinds are 10 and 20 in this game. The brown chips you see, kind of brown-orange chips, those are $10 chips. The white chips you'll see are $100 chips. And if you see any greenish chips, those will be $1,000 chips. And a bunch of limpers. George is not even going to complete here. And he's going to throw it away. We're going to see this, looks like 5 ways. $100 pot, actually $110 pot. Flop comes out ace 8-3 rainbow. Mo has got, Mo's got the best hand here. He's got ace jack. And he bets the pot. He bets $100. Wow, and Josh is going to call this with absolutely nothing. Is he going to make a play? I got to tell you, I mean, there are guys you want to make a move on. Is Mo really the one you want to make a move on, though? Man. And there's another ace there. And Josh is drawing dead here. Mo cannot lose this hand unless he throws it away. And sure enough, Mo checks it. He's going to give Josh just enough rope to hang himself. And Josh is going to bite. He's going to put 250 out there. Now, Josh is good friends with Adam. Anybody that remembers Adam? Adam's kind of that free-willing player that was kind of went on a real nice run for about 3 weeks. Deck hit him in the face. But it always comes back to bite you in the ass. Then the river is an 8. Doesn't change anything. And Mo's going to put some money out there. And Josh can beat absolutely nothing. And when Josh doesn't call this bet, it'll be really obvious that Josh was kind of setting up a play. I mean, you look at that board, it's ace 8-3 rainbow. What did you call me with, okay? Would you call me with an ace? Did you call me with an 8? Would you call me with pocket jacks? And Mo's going to take it down. Takes down about an $800 pot there. Got to tell you, I look forward to Fridays all week long. Wednesdays and Fridays, my 2 favorite nights. I love Live at the Bike every night, but Fridays, you can't really beat it. 10-20, unrestricted buy-in. Bird is going to raise it up with a couple of jacks. It's going to make it 80 to go. Kind of in mid-ish position here. I think he's probably going to buy himself the button here. He does. Now, Allen's got ace-queen of diamonds. He had limped in with that, and he'll probably call. And he does. And we're going to see this heads up. Ace-queen versus jacks. To the flop. Not a good flop for ace-queen of diamonds. I got to tell you, 8-3-3, couple of clubs out there. And Allen's going to check. Bert's going to put a continuation bet out there.
250.
And he bets 250. He bets about the pot, a little bit more. The pot was about 220. And Allen's really got absolutely nothing here. And he's going to throw it away. Bert takes it down. Now, once I get this night kind of warmed up, we will bring in, it looks like Georgian. George Giorgio, whatever the heck. There he is, Greek Poker God. We're going to get him in here. We're going to get Hob. We're going to get Midnight in here. Hollywood Russ wanted to come in, and kind of a little comic relief, we're going to get Allen in here. I've just always wondered what goes on in his head. So we get to see it tonight. Should be a lot of fun. And we'll have to make good on our promise of getting Jonas and Mike and maybe Jason Cacciatani in the booth at another time. And Hobbs going to raise this up. He's in kind of late position. 2 off the button with ace-jack offsuit. Not a great hand. But he's going to buy himself the button. He has position now. Mo's not going to get involved with ace-10. And BB does not call with pocket nines. Wow. That's real tight. Now, folding ace-10, I have no problem with that. I might even fold ace-queen out of position to Hobbs raise. But a pocket pair, depending on how much money I have and depending on how much money he has, I might call that. The only problem sometimes with nines is flop comes out, say 7 high or 6 high, you don't know where you're at, and you're out of position. Can be tough to play. But if you're deep enough, sometimes you can play it just for your set. Bird is under the gun, he's going to limp in. Josh has got ace-queen, I believe. Yeah, he does. 180. $180 raise. Wow. That's funny. When you sit down in a game like this or any no-limit game, oftentimes the kind of customary raise of the table it gets set. And generally, you've already seen, okay, one raises 120, one raises 100, one raises 90, one raises 140 when you had 3 limpers. And then Josh is kind of like just blown it out of the water by making it 180 to go. You wonder if he can get called by any hand that's actually worse than his. And, of course, nobody calls him here. He's going to take down $50. Dead money. Now, we always point out that, obviously, unlike a tournament, where a tournament, the customary raise seems to be about 3 times the big blind. Sometimes in a tournament, I even raise it less than that because I really want to get action. Sometimes I'll even raise it only 2 1/4 times the big blind. I almost want that call from a weak player so I can start building up my chip stack and accumulating chips, which is so important in a tournament. But in a cash game, oftentimes, because you're a lot deeper in comparisons to big blind, you're raising it a lot more. And look at this one here. Now Josh has made it 180 again. That's the raise he established with ace-king, but Alan's got kings. Now, oftentimes, if I got kings in this situation against a player like Josh who's going to hang himself, I'm going to just smooth call him. But Alan's going to move in, and I don't think that he's got enough money for Josh to fold this. I think once you look at it, it's 180 plus 180. There's going to be $400 of money in the pot. And I'm looking at Alan's stack. It might be, the pot might be $1,000, $500, or $600 to call. And I don't think you can throw away ace-king here. I think Josh is going to find himself pot committed, and we're pretty much going to see Alan's about a 2-1 favorite over ace-king. And sure enough, it is 530 more, so the pot's about 930, 530 to call. I mean, I got to tell you, I'd probably call this too with ace-king. Now, I'm not going to raise it that much. But once I do raise it 180, Alan's just not deep enough to get me away from that hand. Flop comes out 9 high. Josh needs an ace and only an ace. 6 of hearts is no help. And the river's a deuce of hearts and no help there. Alan's going to double up. And that is quickly, what was that, about 530? About a $1,500 pot that Alan takes down.
530.
And Josh is quickly down about $700. Not a terribly strong lineup if you look at this lineup of poker players here. Probably the 2 best players at this table are probably Hob in seat number 4 and Mo in seat number 8. Now everybody at the table has their strengths and weaknesses, obviously. But you don't really have, you don't have a Jones at the table. You don't have a Corporation Mike at the table that's going to drive the action. It's kind of a more controlled 10-20 game. Sometimes our 10-20 game can play bigger than a 20-40 game or a 25-50 game if you have the right lineup in there. Now, George is going to raise this up. He's got jacks. A couple of limps. Actually, 1 limp. Just Josh limped in here. And George is going to make it $80. Now, I usually make it, my customary raise in this game, depending on who's in the lineup, this kind of lineup here, I'd probably make it about $90, maybe $100 to go. And Josh is going to call, and he's in really bad shape here. If he catches a jack, obviously the odds are against him. But if the case jack comes out, you wonder if he's going to get in trouble. And not a very good flop for Josh at all. It's 7-7-5, couple of spades. You imagine this is going to go bet, check, bet, and fold. George bets the pot and takes it down. Once again, keep the show interactive. You can email me or us at live@thebike.com. Also go to a live thread over at 2plus2.com. Check it out. It's over in the forums, World Poker Tour section. I don't know why we're in the World Poker Tour section, I got to tell you. But that's where we are. And click on the official Live at the Bike thread for May 12th. And if anybody did not understand exactly what the shredded wheat reference was, too, you need to check out last night's show, where Bart kind of swore his allegiance to shredded wheat. Kirk's got aces. And Mo's going to put kind of a... Now, this is one of Mo's little stop raises. The more I play with Mo, and the more I play with him and the more I watch him, the more I realize that is kind of his stop raise. He likes to do that with kind of a hand where he wants to see a flop. He also does it with, say, a small pocket pair. Now, if he has queens or kings or aces or something like that, he makes it 140 to go. But obviously, Kirk's not going to buy it. He is going to re-raise it up to 300 and take it down after Allen called in between. And I got to tell you, I mean, it's one thing about Mo's game, and I love Mo's game, I really do. It's the one thing about his game, though, where I think he gives a little bit of information away by those raise amounts. I mean, when he makes it here 50, 60 to go, 40 to go, he's pretty much telling you, I don't have aces, kings, queens. He might have king, queen, he might have ace, jack, he might have jack 10, he might have pocket threes. But when he has a big pocket pair, he generally raises it a little bigger. Bart is going to just limp in, it looks like. And Josh is going to take the opportunity to raise here. See if he can steal this. But you can see this raise. Now, suddenly Josh has only made it $80. Last raise was $180. Not quite sure why Bert would open the limp here. And George is thinking about what to do here. Not sure if he's just thinking about limping or maybe he's going to re-raise, and he is. Yeah, he thinks Josh is full of shit. And you know what? He's right. And George, wow, and Josh calls after Bert folds, and this pot is quickly $500. And both players miss, which happens more often than not. Josh is going to check it, and George needs to continue betting here. He's represented a pocket pair. And if he were to put out, say, a $300 or $400 bet here, he'd take this down, I'm pretty sure.
400.
He bets 400. That's a nice bet. And Josh has obviously got absolutely nothing here. He's probably thinking if I can make a move or not. I tell you, Josh is somewhat like Adam. Obviously not quite as aggressive as like Adam. But I've got the feeling that if you leave him and you let him make moves on you, he probably can't go more than a couple hours without making a move and giving away his chips. Now, obviously, the deck hits him in the face, he can win, but can't everybody. And Bert's going to raise this up in seat number 1. He's got pocket eights. Buy himself the button. George has got king 8. I don't think he's going to play that. And Russ has got a 10-6. I don't think he's going to play that either. And this money will probably go to Bert, you imagine. And it does. Once again, we're live at the bikes. I'm David Zuckman. And we are playing No Limit Hold'em. Blinds are 10 and 20. This is an unrestricted buy-in. The minimum buy-in is $1,000. And I'm going to estimate that we've got well over, probably close to $20,000, maybe even $25,000 on this table right now.
Do I need to tell the world something in my 15 minutes?
Actually, we might have more than that. But we will get a chip count relatively soon. Figure it all out. Button's in seat number 5. That's George, Greek Poker God. He's going to limp in. Russ is going to toss in his $10. And we're going to see this 4 ways, $80 pop. To the flop. Flop is 9-7-5. Nice flop for 8-6, but nobody's got that. Now, Russ actually has the best hand here with a queen 5. He's got backdoor clubs with the 5. But he doesn't bet it. 7 doesn't change anything. And you imagine, maybe Russ puts a little money in here now on the turn. Looks like he's thinking about it, and he does. And he bets $80. He bets the pot, and that should be good enough to take it down. I'm actually surprised George didn't bet the flop. Wow, and Josh is going to call this. Now he has overcards plus a gut shot straight draw. If he catches an 8, he has the nuts. Well, not the nuts, but he's got the nuts straight, that is. Deuce of spades changes nothing. And is Russ thinking of maybe putting a little blocker bet in? He's going to check it. And Josh is going to have to bluff at this if he wants to take it. No, he's going to just check it down. I'm really surprised Josh just... You call him the turn for what, exactly? I mean, the pot is only $80 now with the $80 bet. The pot is $160, 80 to call. You're getting 2 to 1. You're hoping to hit, I guess, a jack, a 10, or an 8. Kind of an odd play. I mean, you've also got to hope that Russ didn't, check a 7, which is... Couldn't he have 8-7? Completely out of the realm of possibility. Button moves over to Russ in seat number 6. Small blind 10, big blind 20. Allen's not going to play under the gun. But Bert is going to play. Bert's going to raise it up with pocket 4s. And is George Georgian going to call? And I got to tell you, against most players, I don't call with ace-jack. I don't want to call a raise here. But against Bert, sometimes Bert can overvalue some hands. And I might call Bert here. In position. And George is going to do the same thing. And we're going to see this heads up. Flop is ace, queen, 9. I got to tell you, it's not a great flop for really either hand. You got to look at that flop with ace-jack and you go, well, if Bert had an ace, now this is obviously going to go one thing with an ace-jack like that or a weak ace. Oftentimes you either win a small hand, win a small pot or lose a big one. Now in this case here, you got to look at ace-jack there and go, well, I can't beat ace-queen, ace-king, obviously. I can't beat ace-9. I can beat ace-10. But you got to be careful. If the guy comes back at you or he bets into you, obviously ace-jack can be a trap hand. Like I said, I don't normally like to call a raise with that, but against Bert, you might be able to get away with it.
Wait for my blind to come on.
Bert makes some unorthodox raises sometimes. And George makes a little raise here in late position. He made it $60 to go with 6s. Allen called and Kirk called. And the flop misses everybody. It's really a terrible flop for everybody. But if George puts a continuation bet out here, he will take it down. Flop is ace-jack 10, 2 hearts. And George is going to make a continuation bet. He's going to bet about 160, it looks like. And he's going to take it down. Nice bet by George. So I'm checking out this post by Kev Math over 2+2. Hey, I'm not surprised that some knucklehead who made an accusation about Jonas and Jason colluding would cause them not to appear to guest commentate. And yeah, it's actually not the reason, believe it or not. Hey, I got to tell you, the information that we got on that hand, and anybody wondering what we're talking about when Jonas kind of isolated Jason with 5-3 of hearts. The way it looked to us, it was so bewildering, I just did not understand it. Obviously, later on, when we figured out exactly what the real chips was and what the bets were, it made more sense. But at the time, it really didn't at all. And Russ is going to raise this up, I think, with King 10 of diamonds. Makes it $90 to go. Allen's going to call with King Queen, normally a trap hand, but in this case, he's actually got Russ trapped. You imagine after Josh calls with a dominated ace-9 here, you imagine George is probably going to call with pocket 9s. Minimally. Yeah, he's just going to call this, I think. And we're going to see this 4 ways. The pot is about $380. To the flop. Wow, and this flop's really hit almost everybody. Allen's got top pair. Russ has got top pair. Josh has got the nut flush draw plus an overcard. And George has got nothing. And Josh is going to put some money in the pot, and I don't mind this at all. And you got to realize, though, when you get a raiser and that many calls, there's a good chance somebody's got a king, and somebody might even have ace-king. So your ace might not be good. Now, in this case, Josh's ace is actually good. But by betting it, you might freeze somebody with, say, king-queen or king-jack. And the bet by Josh was, I want to say, the The bet by Josh was 250. And Russ smooth called.
400.
Wow, and look at this. We got a bet by Josh, 250. We had a call by Russ. And now Alan has made it another 300 to go. And this pot is quickly building up. It was about $380 pre-flop, 250, 750. We're looking at about 1,200. Pot is about 1,600 for the call, and Josh is moving all in. Wow. And that's an easy laydown now for Russ. A real easy laydown for Russ. And he's going to throw it away. And Josh is going to cover Alan here, I'm pretty sure. The pot is now $2,000. How much more is it from Josh?
Oh, it doesn't matter. Oh, okay.
And how much more money does Alan have? Okay, so we're looking at about a $3,000 pot. The turn is a queen of clubs, and that's it. Going to do it there. Wow. And Josh makes the flush. Obviously, Alan had a redraw there. He could have caught a king or a queen for a full house, but doesn't do it, and Josh wins it there. Josh wins himself a big pot. That pot was about $3,100. And just like that, Alan goes built. And I guess once you play it like that with the ace-9 of clubs, I mean, you've got to realize that you're putting your money in. There's a good chance your ace is not an out. Now, if you know your ace is an out and you've got 12 outs, you really can play that hand pretty hard. You got 12 outs. You're going to hit your hand about 40, 42% of the time. Now, if you think you just have a naked flush draw, though, you've got to realize that you're only going to hit that, say, 35% of the time. If you want to gamble, hey, go for it. But you got to realize that it is a gamble, obviously. I guess Josh is willing to gamble, and he pretty much doubles up there. Nice pot for him. And George is right. He did have the best hand pre-flop. You get any points for that? Somebody give him a gold star for having the best hand pre-flop. Queen Jack 4 out there. Dr. Beebe with top pair. And he's in late position. Alan's open-ended here. Now, Alan, I'm assuming he rebought for 1,000. Actually, 2,000 Alan's rebought for. Now, when Dr. Beebe bets this, I got to tell you, I'm smooth calling this with King 10. I might even raise it. Because Beebe's, it's pretty easy to get Dr. Beebe off the hand. Now, Alan called it, which he normally does with his draws. Pot is going to be about $300 right now. And Beebe bets, looks like about 300. And Alan's going to call. And Alan's going to call this. And now the pot is $900 to the river. Alan needs an ace, a king, or a 9 to win this. Pot is about $1,000. Alan needs an ace, a king, or a 9. And it is a king, and look at that. Alan has got top pair, and he's going to win this. Now, Dr. Beebe kept pushing hard. And look at that. Alan is going to put a little value bet in there. Oh, okay. Actually, Beebe bet 200. It was a verbal bet there. And unfortunately for us, once in a while they do those verbal bets. We ask them not to do that, but unfortunately in this game, you can't always hear it. So Beebe actually said 200. It was kind of a little blockish bet. Alan's going to, of course, call it 200 when he hits top pair. And Alan wins himself about a $1,300 pot there. Easy come, easy go, huh?
How they doing it to me?
Butt moves over to seat number 1. That's Bert.
I go plus 10 times, I'm not catching one. Maybe I'm catching 1 out of 20. You're the king of suckouts.
Well, it's good to know that our new sponsor, Shredded Wheat, is already, I've already got Photok. He's already saying he's headed out to get some shredded wheat. I tell you, I mean, I've been bugging like Guinness, you know, some sort of like really cool sponsor, and what do we get? We get shredded wheat. Man, I tell you. See this post from 7N7. He says, "I missed a few episodes. So who's this Josh kid? Looks like he's got a little bit too much WPT in him." And that's actually a great analysis of Josh. Probably a little bit too much WPT. Russ is going to limp in here. Nobody's got much of anything. I see a king-queen for Allen in late position. Oftentimes in the cutoff seat, I'll raise that. But Allen usually doesn't. Allen, if he raises pre-flop, he's usually got a big pocket pair. And we're going to see this 5 ways, $100 pot. Flop is queen, 9-7. And Allen's got top pair. Not much of anything for anybody else. Should check around to Allen. Allen will probably put about a $100 bet in there. And in all likelihood, everybody will fold. Allen will rarely bluff on the flop and on the turn. Now, if Allen's bluffing, sometimes occasionally on the river, if he's missed a draw, he will bluff. And everybody folds. Allen takes it down.
You just get even. You don't get it going. So, I've never seen you bad enough to
Never seen what?
Button's going to move over to seat number 2. That's Kirk. Got some cool tournaments coming up here. What is it, May 12th? So I think we've got, I think May 22nd starts our next tournament series. What is it called? Poker Classic, actually, May 22nd. And it's kind of a smallish buy-in tournaments, but nice guarantees. I mean, we're looking at probably over $250,000 in guaranteed prizes here. Really impressive. Anyway, all the tournaments start at 4:15 p.m. And if you want to check them out, go to thebike.com. George limped in. Allen's going to limp in. And Kirk is going to raise it up here. And Kirk's got, what, 6s? Now, I love the raise by Kirk. Now, the only problem with Kirk's game, though, is if somebody calls him and he doesn't really hit the flop and they check to him, he doesn't necessarily try to bet. Oftentimes, he's a little bit too passive post-flop. Now, I got to tell you, if I'm George, I might call this. Only because, you know, well, first of all, if Kirk's got a big hand, I might get paid off. And if Kirk doesn't have a big hand, he might give me free cards. And sure enough, George is going to call, and that's going to bring Allen in, I bet. Now, oftentimes I'd rather call with a Jack-10 suited than a King-Queen offsuit, but that's not going to stop Allen. And Bert's going to go in there, too, now. And suddenly this pot is 130 times 4 ways now. This pot is going to have $540 with the blinds in there. Actually, $550. And it's an ace-9 5 flop. Now, this is a perfect flop for Kirk to bet. Watch them all check to him. And Kirk is going to check. See, exactly what I was saying. And if he bet that, he takes it down. Turn is a 7, and now Bert has the best hand. And still, whoever bets it is going to take it down. Once again, Kirk checks it, though. And the river is a deuce of clubs, changes nothing. And if this checks around, Bert is going to win this with an 8-7. It looks like George is going to take a shot at it, though. I'm not sure what he's trying to represent. I mean, maybe he's representing diamonds? Thinking, okay, I'll check it once, and then he hit it. He goes, oh, maybe somebody will bet now. But can Bert call this? And Bert does not call, and George wins it with Jack high. Look at that. Nice bet by George. Takes it down. And that really is the problem with Kirk's game there. He raises with 6s, nice raise, but with his image, he could take that down if he just put some money in the pot. Button moves over to seat number 3. And I believe George is going to skip his blind. I think we're going to get him in the booth here for about 10 to 15 minutes. Like I said, always fun to see poker through somebody else's eyes. Get a chip count here. We've got over $20,000 on the table. Actually, over $23,000 on the table now. Hobby's got the whole table covered. He's got $4,000. Bert with $3,500. Josh with $3,100 now. And Russ and Allen bringing up the rear.
My friend Russ, what are we doing?
And we'll see how they're doing. Mo already up 1,100. Hob is up 1,000, and Josh is up 400. The rest of the table is down. And we'll keep track of that throughout the evening. See how these guys are doing.
Absolutely.
And they're just going to chop it around.
That's what you had, though, right?
Button moves over to seat number 4.
No, I don't mean with the raise. I mean with the one you and I went. Oh.
Want to welcome the Greek poker god to the booth, George. What the heck is your last name?
It's Giorgio.
Giorgio. Okay, cool. Well, pleasure having
How you
you.
doing, David?
Good to have you in there. Well, let's get right to the game. I'll probably do play-by-play. We'll let you throw in some color.
Sure.
And I think it's really interesting for the our viewers to kind of see poker through your eyes,
Absolutely.
how you see it. Now, Josh is going to raise it up to $190. Now, this guy's raises pre-flop are just outrageous.
Yeah, I've been noticing that he raised pre-flop a few times, so I had to kind of keep him in check one time.
Yeah, I saw the play you made with the King Jack. It's a real nice play.
Yeah.
Obviously, he only had a Jack 10 there.
Okay.
And you obviously read his weakness and took it away from him with King High.
It's not just about raising weakness. I really didn't have an idea what he's raising with. I just wanted him to know that, hey, you got to stop that, because he'll be stealing my blinds later on, maybe
Right.
play on me. Just wanted to tell him that, I'm there.
It's not going to go that way.
Yeah.
I got you. Well, there he just raised it with 9-3 of spades. He took it down.
9-3.
9-3 of spades. Well, I guess, hey, if you're going to raise it, oftentimes, you're not going to see a showdown. It doesn't really make a difference what two cards you hold. Nice play there. You had the Jack 10 of clubs, and you stole the pot there.
Yeah, since
Obviously,
some
it wasn't the
weakness
best
all
hand.
around. I didn't think it was. Since some weakness.
Now, Kirk's going to raise this up. He's got pocket eights, a couple of black ones. He makes it 120 to go.
Kirk's usually quite a tight player. He usually limps in with this kind of hand, though. I'm kind of surprised.
Now, Russ is actually going to call this, and that's going to bring in Allen with ace queen. Now, Russ is calling with queen 10 of hearts, and Allen's going to call with ace queen, and that's going to bring Bird in with queen jack. The odds are we're not going to see a queen, but we do see a king. The flop is king 7-5, couple of diamonds out there.
Let's see if he goes check if Russ can use this.
Problem is that this is what I was saying about Kirk's game. He'll often raise. Now, he hits his
there
turns
he
a
is.
set. Now, oftentimes, the hand where you had the Jack 10 of clubs, he actually had sixes. Nobody had an ace, but he doesn't represent. He doesn't bet that. And here, you see Kirk does not, he never follows through with his raises. He probably could have taken it down on the flop. Now, obviously, he hits a
absolutely.
set, and he's going to bet it.
Absolutely. And now it gets a little bit dangerous because someone's holding two diamonds or, God forbid, a straight flush draw. They're going to call in there.
Right. But generally speaking, if Kirk is betting on the flop, post-flop, he's got something.
Absolutely.
He rarely, if he raises with ace queen or ace king and he misses, he's not going to follow through.
Right. I don't usually put, when he's got a hand and I've got mediocre hand, a king, jack suited, I usually lay it down when he's raising. But he's the kind of player that you could put a few plays on.
Well, if you have any questions for George, our Greek poker god, email them to us at live@thebike.com. George is one of the many professional poker players we have here at the Bike. And Kirk's going to raise it up again. He's a machine here. He's got pocket jacks this time, a couple of red
Wow.
ones.
Nice run of cards for cut.
Now, you look at a table like this, and I don't think anybody's going to call this. Who is the guy? I mean, I know when I sit down at a table, sometimes I'll look at, okay, this is the guy I want to kind of like, I want to pick my spots against this guy. I want to avoid this guy, and so forth. Is that how you sit down? I mean, when you sit at a table,
Absolutely.
what's the first thing you do?
Absolutely. Some people come into a table and they generally have an idea they're going to play tight tonight, they're going to play loose tonight. I don't do that. I generally look at the table and say, okay, this is a tight table tonight, so I can steal a few pots here and there. Definitely seat 3. Is it Josh?
Yeah, Josh.
Josh, seat 3. And I've been watching. Actually, been watching Russ's play lately. Seat 6. And the Russ of old is back.
Yeah. Well, you got aces here for BB.
Oh, nice. Now,
If
Dr.
there's anybody
BB
who's going to fold aces pre-flop, it would be BB.
Now, Dr. Beaver's another player. If he bets, generally he has something.
I thought you had the best hand.
Although I got to tell you, if he ever bets the flop, he's probably got a good but not great hand.
Oh,
Because
is
he
that
always
right?
slow plays.
Okay.
Always slow plays. I mean, I know you watch the archives religiously.
He
But I
hasn't
don't
been
have
on
betting
lately,
information.
actually, that much. But
Yeah. I mean, if the flop comes out queen high, like queen 8-4, and he bets, he's probably got something like ace queen or king queen or queen jack. He definitely doesn't have a set.
oh, I see.
Flop comes
So
out
this
king
side.
king jack, and he bets it. You don't have a king.
I actually was surprised that he. I don't know if it was up on running when he hit a set of deuces on me. When I had a 9 top pair. And if he had raised me there, I would have mucked it. The fact that he slow played it got me to fire again on the ace. So sometimes it is, it's a play that makes you more money. But
And we got a limped around pot here. It's 3 ways, $60 pot. Flop comes out queen 6 deuce. Couple of clubs here. Now Josh has got top pair. He's going to bet it. And I
see
don't
how much he makes it.
imagine anybody's going to call this. That's 120 into a $60 pot.
Yeah, I think
a little bit of an
pretty much
over bet. You know, I mean, you got to think about it. You're betting 120 just to win 60.
Right.
Now you've got to realize that if you start thinking about the math of that, eventually that's going to lose you money.
Well, if someone's obviously got a good queen, they're going to raise him. A flush might even call, sensing that now he definitely doesn't want to see a flush, or someone as good as Mo may represent a club if it comes. So it's
Now, I was saying before, the most solid players at this game I really thought were seat 4, Hav, and I thought Mo in seat number 8.
absolutely.
And I said, if I'm sitting at this table, those are two guys that I'm trying to avoid.
Trying to
now,
avoid
Dr.
those.
Beebe and Kirk, now they're tight and they're not going to give you much action, but at the same time, they don't scare me.
No, I agree. Totally agree. Russ is someone who also he's playing a lot looser, so he's going to pay you down.
Yeah, definitely.
So that's someone that I might go into a flop knowing I'm behind. If it hits, I'm going to get paid.
Well, we got 4 ways here, limped around. Flop is queen, queen, 6.
And there's a queen.
Couple of diamonds. Yeah, seat number 7. That's actually Dr. Beebe, and he checks it. See, there you go.
Now that's a very dangerous flop to be checking.
But that's Dr. Beebe. He's got trip queens. He checks it.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, guaranteed. Now, he can't lose this unless he throws it away. But he's going to get Josh to bite. And Josh is going to put a little bet out there and see if maybe he can steal it. And Beebe will probably just call, and he does.
Wow.
That's Beebe in a nutshell, man, I tell you. His play, I swear, you want to, like, pull your hair out of your head sometimes. Amazes me. But he maintains, I mean, I've had a lot of conversations with him, and he always maintains, I still get paid off, though. Go, hey, if it works for you, man, teach their own.
Well, sure. If no one.
And look at Josh. Josh is going to fire again.
Josh is just.
Not paying attention to who he's playing against here. What do you think Beebe's calling you with? 6? And Beebe's calling here. And I'm going to ask Donna to tell Beebe to stop verbalizing his bets and his calls and actually put some money in the pot. He's driving me nuts. But we can't hear that all the time.
Right.
And he put some money in the pot. And Beebe's going to win about $950 pot, about $1,000 pot.
pot.
Yeah. And once again, you see the slow play works for him. That's amazing.
Wow.
Yeah. And he shows 3 queens, and he's going to win it down.
Now, if another diamond came, I can understand Josh firing, but not really. That play just doesn't make sense to me at all.
Yeah, I mean, he's not really representing anything. I mean, I guess he's trying to represent Beebe's hand.
Right.
When you're playing that, and a guy like Beebe calls you, you got to think, what is he calling me with? Does Beebe really call me on a turn with a diamond draw?
Yeah.
Probably not.
Got to know when to put the brakes on.
Email here from Norway. I think it's Terry or Terji. I can't pronounce it. You're European. What is that?
Your guess is as good as mine now.
Terje, thank you. Hello, I look at your live webcast, and I love your comments. Like the play from Hollywood Russ. Can you tell me how long he's played poker, and is he a professional player? Thank you, love the show. And I don't think Hollywood Russ is professional, but he plays an awful lot.
This guy is different guy.
He does work for a living, though. Well, I like to say that poker players work for a living, too. But, yeah, whatever, Donna.
Hardest way to make an easy living, right?
Yeah, exactly. And we get a raise here from Kirk, actually, in seat 2. He's raising it up with pocket 5s. And Josh is going to smooth call at ace-queen. And that's going to bring Bird in here with queen-jack, and he's dominated him. Queen comes off, he's in trouble. Well, the flop misses everybody. Kirk's in the lead here. And will
Kirk is going to
bet?
fire into this.
Well, there you go. I mean, this is something
That's
Kirk
more
doesn't
like it.
normally do. But I think with 5s here, you have to bet, don't you?
Absolutely. If you don't bet here, the next card's probably going to kill your hand, pretty much.
And you have no idea what you're rooting for.
Right. Nice
Got
play there by Kirk.
another email here from, actually, check this out. Email here from Boston. We like to call him our big dumb cauliflower. Hey, Dave, I'm out of work at 8 p.m. tonight. I could come down and provide some sidekick action for the last hour or so. Let me know. Hey, Boston, come on down, buddy. Oh, wait. He said, come on down. I'm buying the drinks. Then you're definitely in. Okay, get the hell out of here, George.
Nice.
It's good to know. I'll be doing some commentary with a cauliflower later. Once again, we're live at the bike. I'm David Tuckman. I'm here with George Giorgio, the Greek poker god.
There you go.
And we're going to get a raise here from Bert. It's going to make it $80 to go with 8-7 suited.
Nice hand. I like to bring that in sometimes with a raise.
It's not a bad spot to raise, too. He's raising it kind of in mid-ish to late position. He buys himself the button, and in this case, he buys himself the pot.
Nice.
What do you think of Bert's play now? Bert's kind of an enigma. We kind of watch him, and one day he looks like a great player, and the next day he makes some plays that just make you scratch your head. I mean,
Yeah, I've tried to figure him out. The other day he called Bart on a hefty raise. Bart had ace-king. He had pocket 4s. and he won the pot. I think there was 3 or maybe even 4 overcards. I don't know, nice read, or he just was running hot that day, so he thought I'd throw an extra 500 into this pot, see if I can win it. I don't know. I think he's pretty good.
And Bart told us about that hand, and he said, I go, well, I guess you re-raised with ace-king. I go, I got to put you on one of like 6 or 7 hands that you're going to re-raise with. Well, ace-king is the only one that he could beat out of the 7.
Right,
Everything else is an overpair, over to his force. Ace-8-5, this was limped around 4 ways. Now, Bert and Dr. Beebe both have a 2. Actually, wow, Beebe's flopped 2 pair. He's got top and bottom, and he's going to bet it.
Betting.
Well, 2 pair he bets often.
Okay.
He'll bet this.
And it's anything better than 2 pair he checks. Huh?
Mo calls, or did Mo raise?
I like that. I like that raise by Mo. He's building the pot. If he wins, it's probably going to be a decent-sized pot.
Yeah, well, Mo is raising here, and by raising here against Dr. Beebe, he could actually buy himself some free cards if he chooses to.
Absolutely.
Now, that gets Bert out of the hand, who had a weak ace. Hav obviously is going to lay down 9s. And you can see Beebe's just going to call here. Pot is quickly about $340. Turns a king. That changes nothing. And I got to tell you, if I'm Beebe here, I'm putting money in the pot again. I'm not going to give a free card here.
Oh, that's definitely not enough. And actually, that induces...
And Beebe throws in $100, and Mo is going to make it 500 total. And Beebe throws it away.
My word. I mean,
wow.
That is.
That's Beebe in a nutshell, I swear.
There you go, Mo.
Oh, man. And the river would have been an 8 of hearts, and it actually would have really almost, in a way, killed Dr. Beebe's hand because his 2 pair wouldn't play.
And I'm sure that Mo would have fired again in there if the 8 of hearts hadn't taken it down. But
oh, man.
Nonetheless, I mean...
This doesn't make any... The flop was ace-8-5, right? You have ace-5. So what do you put Mo on? I mean, I guess he had to put him on ace-8, specifically ace-8?
Probably ace-king is what I'm thinking.
Okay, so the king comes on the turn, and then you think you're dead?
So you're dead, or...
Okay. Well, either way, Beebe throws it away, and Mo takes it.
I'm not saying that was a good play, but...
Well, I didn't bring in here to, step on eggshells, okay? King 7-4, a couple of clubs out there. Josh has got the best hand.
I'm sure Josh, if he gets checked around, is going to fire here.
Wow, and he doesn't fire here. And I got to tell you, one off the button, why not fire there?
Absolutely.
And why not at least see where you're at?
And now that 4 changes absolutely nothing. Unless he puts.
And he lets a 3rd club out come out. Now he can't beat a 7 or a 4. And at this point, I just hope it gets checked down. I don't have to put any money in. And now he's going to put money in when he might be beat.
And the only person who's going to call him is a hand that beats him at this point.
Exactly. So. He puts in money way too late here, obviously. He's going to win it. Makes no difference. But obviously you're not going to get a 7 to lay down. You're not going to get a 4 to lay down. I don't even think you're going to get a flush to lay down at this point. But what can you get called by?
Yeah.
Once again, if you have any emails, any questions for it's George Giorgio here, Greek Poker God, send them in. Got a question here from Jared Pondelik. He says, hey, Dave, I was having some trouble with ace-queen, wondering if you thought it was a good laydown pre-flop. Someone in middle position raised it up 3 times the blind, and 2 people called behind. He was in the small blind ace-queen offsuit and felt that I should just lay it down and really not get mixed up with such a speculative hand out of position versus 3 opponents. And I got to tell you, and he says, how would I play it? I mean, what was your advice?
You can play this a number of ways. I think the best way to play it is to lay it down in that position. You're probably getting called by...
Go ahead, nothing really going on.
At least an ace-queen, and probably a couple pairs in there, so you really have to hit that flop pretty hard, and you're in bad position all the way. It's a good lay down.
Alan's going to bet this. He picked up a pair on the turn, and he's going to take it down. Yeah, I mean, I got to tell you, ace-queen offsuit, if you listen to Bart and I at all, ace-queen, Doyle Brunson says the same thing, it's a trap hand. The hand sucks, okay? It really is. It's one of those hands, if you're playing against a good player, you're not going to make any money on ace-queen, okay? It really is a trap hand. You got to realize that if you're taking any heat, the flop comes out ace-9-4 or something like that, and you're taking heat with your ace-queen, what can you beat? You know? Is a good player really going to put a lot of money in there with ace-10 or ace-jack? So, and out of position, ace-queen, I have no problem laying it down.
His best bet, if he didn't want to lay it down and he had to play it, best bet is to raise at that point and try and take down a small pot.
Now, in a tournament, obviously, it's a little bit different. A tournament where you've got to accumulate chips and you've got to play some hands, a lot different where you can raise with ace-queen and take it down pre-flop. But in a cash game, there's no reason to really push. There's nothing urgent. The blinds are not escalating. We see this 4 ways. no raise, $80 pot.
Looks like Bert's got middle pair here.
Yep.
Best hand.
Yeah, Kirk's got bottom pair, and Alan's got bottom pair as well.
Let's see if Kirk wants to represent the king here.
Yeah, and and Bert actually threw in a little $100 bet there. Wow, and Tracy's in the booth. I can't believe she came in here without Bart here. I'm shocked.
Well, hi, Tracy. How you doing? A little bit of something going on between Bart and Tracy?
I think Bart's just hoping there's something going
Is
on
that
between
right?
Bart and Tracy, yeah.
Nice.
Bart moves over to seat number 1. What do you think of Hov's game? Now, I know you and Hov are good friends and everything.
Yeah, me and Hov are roommates, as you pointed out many times before in the show.
Roommates, lovers, whatever else you might say.
Yeah, all of that. We do it all.
Yeah.
You know. And he's a very solid player. We throw different situations against each other, and very, very solid player. Knows when to make a move, knows when to lay a hand down. One of the best players, I think.
Now, it's folded around to the blinds. I'm not sure if they're going to play or not. I think they're discussing it. And I guess they're going to play. And so they're going to play it. And we're going to see this heads up. And I got to tell you, I like to play the blinds. There's sometimes I won't play it. Now, the flop comes at ace, queen, 9. And Josh has got an ace. And I believe that not only are they playing it, but they decided to check it down. I don't see the point of that. So at that point, you might as well play poker, right?
Maybe they're just like check it down if you got a jackpot hand. Maybe hit the jackpot because ace, ace, ace. I don't know.
Right, so you're going to pay an extra $4 to hit the jackpot? Probably not a sound decision, right? I don't know. I mean, to me, I have no problem playing hands. I like playing heads up. Now, once in a while, if I'm sitting next to a guy like Hob, or if I'm sitting next to Mo or you.
And I was about to say, sometimes just if someone wants to check it down and you're going to knock it anyways, just put the $4 in, be friendly, move on to the next hand.
Okay.
And let me just mention that Hob did beat me at tennis today, 6-1, 6-2. But because I know he's going to come in and talk about that.
Okay, here's a question from Damien Edwards. He says, where did George get his nickname, the Greek poker guy? Is there a story behind this?
I was born in England from Greek parents, actually from Cyprus. So Greek poker god, there it is.
Did somebody give it to you, or did you give it to yourself?
No, actually, I gave it to myself. I'm just hoping it sticks at this point.
I'm not sure if a nickname counts if you give it to yourself, but hey, we've been giving it to you, so it's correct.
There you go. It's kind of stuff. It fits me well.
Yeah, now, Kirk actually raised it up with pocket 5s, and he's going to take it down pre-flop. Button's going to move over to seat number 3. That's Josh.
What happened to Voodoo G? Don was asking me in the headset here.
Yeah.
Voodoo G was just, when I was running bad, I went to see the Voodoo doctor and put a spell on the bad beats, and it kind of worked. So I was calling myself Voodoo G for a while.
You know, I was ridiculing you for that, but I might ask you for the number soon.
Really?
I might. I just had too many ace-kings against sets and
Really?
myself nuts, yeah.
It's $100 I give it to you.
Okay. Done, easy.
Now, did you tell the audience how you won $100 before you came into the booth already?
I didn't. No, I was waiting for you to rub it
There
in.
you go.
Yeah, Button moves over to seat 3. We'll get to that in 1 second. Small blind is Hov, $10. Big blind is Russ, $20. Dr. BB is folded, and it's going to fold all the way around, and they're going to go. Okay, tell them, how did I win $96 off you?
Why don't you tell it since you won the money? Have it.
Yeah, actually, I had $32
pretty
on
disgusting,
me,
that's all I know.
and we were just going to do. We did high card before the game started for $32, and I actually won 3 straight off him, and then we did a 4th one for $100 because I was going to let him get his money
Trying
back.
to get even, or
And I pull up the ace of spades. And I could have just
That's
taken
incredible.
it right there, but I actually said, I go, okay, I'm going to give you a draw. I put my ace of spades back in the deck, and I said, okay, if you can get an ace, we tie.
So there's 4 aces in the deck, and I have to pull an ace, and
It's a draw.
I pull an ace of
Of hearts.
hearts. That was beautiful. So I saved
Right.
myself the 100, but still have to pay the other 100.
Right.
So I was down 100 before even the game started. That was great.
No, it's not my button. I can't call.
And we get a little raise here from Mo. I can't see. Mo's got pocket 5s, and I believe the raise was, what, 70? Anybody out there? Nobody's out there.
Looks like 70 or 50.
And I think it's 70, I want to guess. Yeah, it is 70.
70.
And that's one of Mo's, like, kind of little stop raises, and we see it all the time from Mo. Whenever he wants to see a flop, he kind of makes it, like, between $50 and $80. And if he's got a big hand, he'll make it $120 or $140. And here he makes it 70 with fives. And he's going to follow through and bet.
Now, Josh is playing ace-7, bad position for a raise. I mean, I don't know what is it, apart from 2 sevens or ace-7 on the flop. I'm not sure what else he wants on this flop.
Yeah, I mean, that's not a hand you call raise with, is it?
Absolutely, especially not in that position, especially not heads up against Mo.
Yeah, I mean, you just put yourself in a spot where you go, okay, well, if I hit my ace, where am I?
Right.
Because you know Mo's going to follow through and bet anyway.
Right.
Mo takes it down. So where do you like? Do you like being at the table or you like being in here?
Depends
Kind of
if I'm
interesting.
winning or not.
Well, you're winning so far, so.
Am I?
I think you're up, yeah. A couple of steals here and there.
Yeah. I think I gave about 500 or 600 to Dr. Beebe when he hit the set, and
Oh, okay.
maybe,
Right before the show
maybe
started?
even. Yeah, I think
Okay.
it was right before the show started.
Now Button moved over to Russ there. Small blind 10, big blind 20, and Allen's going to limp in. Josh is going to limp in.
Now I heard that Farhad's home is a pretty tame table now. Farhad shows up, his table is going to change completely.
Oh, definitely. Well, although he's not an aggressive player, he's more of just a calling station type.
Right, right.
But he'll call every raise.
Every raise, and he's going to upset some people when he hits a gut shot or something, and that's going to change their whole complexion. People are going to start raising with garbage.
Now, this is 4 ways, limped around, $80 pot, all clubs, ace 5 deuce. And Allen's got 2 pair, and he's going to bet it right away. 3 clubs out there, he doesn't want to mess around.
And Josh has got the only club that he's going to get out of.
Yeah, you can't call that, can you, with 2 sixes?
Doesn't Dave have to do a shot?
Not against Allen.
No.
Allen,
If Allen's betting, he's
Allen
done.
would go to the grave with 2 pair.
George has to do a shot.
And they're calling for me to do a shot. I guess all clubs I'm supposed to be drinking.
Oh,
Were you here Cinco de Mayo?
I heard about that.
Yeah,
I wasn't
yeah.
here, but I did hear about that.
I would have drank more, actually, but I was headed to Vegas the next morning, so hang out in Vegas
Oh,
with
you
my
know
buddies.
what? I was here because I ended up playing on the table with Barton. He was absolutely hammered.
Oh, there you go,
It was
right.
great.
How was he hammered?
How was he hammered?
I mean, no, how did he play hammered?
I think he lost. I think he plays better when he's sober.
Sober? Okay. I thought being hammered might loosen him up a little bit, though.
It did loosen him up.
But a
He
little
got
too
in
much.
trouble. Yeah, a little too much.
huh?
absolutely.
Okay. Bud moves over to Dr. Beebe. Bert's going to limp in. Josh is probably going to limp in here. Yep. Josh likes to play really almost any hand, doesn't he? He's got ace-6 offsuit from up front. I mean, that's not a hand I want to limp in with. Not a hand I want to be in at all with.
No, if you're going to play it, you should raise it.
I mean, those are the kind of hands where, in a cash game, I just don't see the point of them. You're really going to win a small
Not
pot
at
or lose a
all.
big one. Flop comes out Jack 8-7, and I think Bert's got the best hand here with 8-5. And it checks around, though. And the turn is 6, and look at that. Allen is back into the best hand. He's got a straight. He's got the ass end of a straight. And he's going to
And
bet
if
it. And you wonder, is Bert going to get involved here?
Oh,
He's got
wow.
top pair with the open-ended straight draw. And he's really drawing just to a chop. He cannot
to a
win this
chop.
hand. And we are heads up here. The pot is going to be about $350 to the river. And the river is a 5. And
Oh.
Bert makes 2 pair. And Allen's going to kind of put out a little bit of a value, kind of a blockish bet out there. Bets $200. And Bert's not going to call. Well, at least he got away from it.
Wow, nice lay down, Bert.
I mean, the only thing I'm not quite sure of, though, okay, you have 8-5 there. What do you do if a 9 comes? On the river.
Well, 5K. Well, for Allen, you mean? What is that?
No, what do you do if Bert called with 8-5, right? So he's got top pair, he's got second pair with an open-ended straight draw.
Right.
But if the 9 comes, how do you play it?
I'm really not sure. That's a part of Bert's game that I really don't understand yet. I can't figure him out. He does these great calls sometimes, and sometimes he lays down some hands that the odds were there to call. Even with that putt, I think the odds were there to call, but he didn't. Ended up being the right decision.
And Russ is going to raise this up. But seat number 8, Mo's got queens on the button. And Russ has got 10-6 of spades. And Mo, I think, is re-raising this. And it looks like making it $390. Now, that's what Mo does when he has queens. Russ made it 90.
So
Mo
hefty
said
raise,
390.
and this should tell Russ right now not to even
I didn't raise.
pretend to have a hand here. Just lay it down, move on.
I just make it one.
He's it's Hollywood in a bit. It is Hollywood Russ,
Yeah, well,
and he's going to lay this hand down about.
doesn't want to make it look like he had absolutely nothing. Make it look like he actually
Absolutely.
raised a decent hand here.
All right, Mo.
Oh, my God.
Okay, Mo.
If he lay down,
Now, this is only the new Russ. Now, obviously, the old Russ, he lays this down in a minute. The new Russ would actually, once in a while, move back on Mo, thinking that Mo's making a move on him.
I've seen that. I saw him
Insane.
do the same the other day with 5 deuce suited and actually crack a set of kings. He backed into a flush.
Well, he doesn't want to get run over anymore. He doesn't want to be passive, weak Russ
Yeah,
anymore.
absolutely.
And obviously, there's obviously the other danger with overplaying some hands there.
Absolutely.
I mean, he called Hav. I'm sure Hav told you about this. There was a board about a week and a half ago, I want to say last Friday's show, where, it was last Friday's show that I played in, where the flop was 9-6-3 with 2 spades, 9 and 6 being spades. Hav had 7-8 of spades. Okay, open-ended straight flush draw.
Huge
Yeah, I
flop.
mean, it's a huge draw. Hav bet. Russ raised him with Jack-9 of hearts. No heart on the board, okay? So he's got top pair with a jack kicker.
Right.
And this is Hav we're talking about, okay? It's
Right.
not Jonas, it's not Corporation Mike. We're talking about a pretty solid player who rarely gets out of line.
Right.
Hav re-raises all in. Now, Hav's got aces here. We'll get to that in a second. Hav re-raises all in, and Russ calls him with just Jack-9.
And if I know
He's
Hav-
actually an underdog to Hav, but the turn comes blank, the river comes blank,
Takes down a
and
big
he
pot.
takes down a huge pot, and I just could not believe he called him with
Now,
Jack-9.
Hav is playing this a bit cagey.
Well, look at this here. Now, actually, Josh has raised this. This is crazy. Now, Josh has raised this with really nothing. Josh has got 10-5 of hearts.
And
Okay, Hav has smooth called it and tried to trap him.
now, Hav would do this, and good players would do this sometimes when you're playing
But
low
watch
position
Bert now.
aces. It's going to be an interesting hand right here.
Now, I'm trying to get the raise here. Oh, thank you. Okay.
Hav did raise.
He did, okay. So Josh made it about 100 to go, right? 150 to go.
And Bert's going to re-raise.
Hav made it 350 total. And now Bert is going to make it. Wow. Oh,
780.
my. Oh, Hav's got to be
And
dancing.
right
in his
now,
pants
I
right
think Hav may just smooth pull this.
Oh, I swear to God, if I'm Hav, I got the biggest boner in the world. You got to be kidding me. I love
You
that.
better not say that. He's been telling me he's.
Are you kidding me? This is ridiculous. Josh makes a bullshit raise. He makes it 150 with 10-5. Now he looks confused. Like, he almost looks constipated. Wait a second. I've got 10-5 of hearts. What could you guys possibly have?
Right.
Hav makes it 350 to go, and now Bert makes it 850 to go. Now this pot is already 12. This pot is $1,400, 850 to call. And if you're Hav, why not just move in here, or do you smooth call it and try to trap him?
How many chips does Bert have? If he has a lot of chips, Hav just may take a flop here.
Yeah, you know what? I mean, Bert's got about. Help me out, Donna. 2,100 left. Why not smooth call
Final
it?
Hav here. He's probably going to smooth pull this.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Why not smooth call this, right?
Is he in
re-raise-
position also,
He is
or-
in position. Yes, the button is in
I
seat
think
9.
he's going to just smooth pull.
We talk about this all the time. Now, if Hav re-raised them all in here,
Bert's going to
it's
lay it
almost
down.
letting Bert off the hook.
Absolutely.
Now, Bert's going to have to bet this flop no matter what. And once Hav calls this bet, we're talking about a $2,000 pot.
Now, Hav already has Bert on a hand, and it's not kings. It's either queens, tens, or jacks.
Now, the only problem with doing this sometimes is you're really much committing yourself no matter what. If the board comes out, say, Jack 9 blank, and he moves in, you're almost committed with aces. There's no way you're going to get away from it.
You are committed, but
At this point here, you go, if the guy gets a set on me, he gets a set on me.
and Hav decides to raise. I don't mind that play either, but
And how much is he going to raise? Let's see what he's doing. He's announced it already. The pot is about 1,900, and he's moving all in.
I think it's a bit of an overkill.
Well, he's let Bert off the hook now. He really has. Now, Bert's got about 2,100 left, and at this point here, you've got to realize Hav has re-raised the original raiser. You've 3-bet it, and now Hav is 4-bet it.
Right.
There's no way he's doing this with jacks or worse.
Absolutely, and
Hav has to have you beat here.
has to have you beat.
And Bert should lick his wounds, go, you know what? I should be lucky I only lost $800 in this
Absolutely.
hand and throw it away.
Absolutely.
It's an easy laydown. And Hav really let him off the hook. Now, oftentimes if I'm out of position with aces, I'll push.
Absolutely, I agree. But he has position. He pretty much knows what Bart has. Two or three hands, and this could have easily been.
I mean, unless the flop comes out King, Queen, Jack,
Mhm.
you can pretty much. Bert's going to put
And-
$1,200 or $1,300 in the
and
pot,
if
and
it
you can
comes
move in.
King, Queen, Jack, Hav lays it down.
Yeah.
So
I mean, unless the flop comes out something like that, some sort of really, really scary board. And look at this.
and it
Bert's
looks
going to lay
like
this
Bert's
down.
going to lay it down. He's probably
I think this is an easy laydown at this point. It really is. I mean, the pot is
It
going to be.
is.
The pot is now
he's got to know his beat.
2, 4. The pot is about 6,000, 2,000 to call. I mean, you've got to look at it now and just go, okay, I'm getting 3-1 on my money, but I'm probably a 5-1 dog.
Absolutely.
4-1 dog, I'm sorry.
No, he won't.
I mean, this is one of those things.
Donna's in the headset saying he's going to call, and I'm like, no, he's not.
Yeah. Yeah, these guys, they always talk to us in the headsets and nobody else can hear them. So we just ignore them.
Put your money down. Take a seat. Oh.
And it really becomes, it becomes a math problem. If you put the guy on either aces, kings, or ace-king, well, if you think there's a chance that Hob could have jacks or ace-king.
But even if he has ace-king, it's a 50-50.
Right, but at that point, you're getting 2-1. The pot is buying you 2-1.
Okay.
I'll put it this way. If you knew Hob had ace-king here, if you thought Hob had a chance of having jacks here, you could make this call. But I got to tell you, knowing Hob, you have to almost guarantee 95% of the time he's got aces or kings here. Right?
Absolutely. And I wouldn't. Oh, my word.
And Bart is and look at this. Bert is going to give him.
Now Hob's got a boner.
And Bert, yeah.
Can we get it? Can we take a look at these pants right there? Can you zoom down? That's my boy.
Oh, there it is. There it is. The table's going to start raising up.
Definitely got a hot one right there.
I got it. How much? I can't remember the last time I got aces all in pre-flop for.
This is amazing. I don't know what.
This pot is $8,000, and they're talking business here. They're going to see how many times they're going to run it.
I think you run it 3 times the whole board.
I run it 3 times, or I don't run it at all. I run it once. That's it.
Absolutely.
You don't want to run it twice. That's for sure.
You don't want to run it twice.
Well, that would have been a board that you would have.
I mean, the money goes in here anyways, and the king's no help to anyone.
No, and that's no help there. They're going to win it 1 time. Let's see how many more times they run it.
It's got to be 3 times.
I'm assuming 3 times. No help there. All clubs, though. Bert's got a club draw. Bert can get a queen or a club here. Nope, not going to help him there. And they're going to run it one more time, I believe. Yes, they are.
See if Bert can catch it.
Nobody's caught a set yet. Still no set for anybody.
And no redraw on the clubs. It looks like Hov may take all 3 down here.
Yeah, let's see. And he does. Wow, and he takes it all. And Bert gets felted, and Hov wins himself
huge pot.
About an $8,200 pot for Hov. Wow. Man, and I got to tell you.
Now, I've seen Bert. I mean, that's not the Bert I know. The Bert I know lays that hand down after about 10 seconds.
I can't believe you called him. I mean, it's unbelievable the stuff we see sometimes. And it's funny. Right. Sometimes we have to go out there. Obviously, we take a lot of shit from you guys because you guys are going, oh, yeah, sure, you make this play. But this is the stuff we see on a day in and day out basis. And we just kind of, we shake our head and we go, I mean, first of all, I got to tell you, I love Hov's game. I said it before the game started. I go, if there's anybody's, I probably like Hov's game the best at this table, maybe Mo. I really, really like Hov's game.
Right.
I thought he let Bert off the hook there. I thought he could have just smooth called up the aces. The flop comes out rags. Bert bets 1,000 or 1,500, or he probably even moves all in. Easy call, and you win it anyway.
Right.
Because Bert should have thrown it away.
Absolutely. This was an easy laydown by Bert. Instead, he lets go about $3,000 right there.
Yeah, actually, almost 4,000. Yeah.
Almost 4,000.
Huge pot, almost an $8,000 pot when it was all said and done. And Josh started it all with 10.
I mean, I would have thought about laying down. I probably would have laid down kings at that point. I mean, I don't think you can beat much.
Well, we always talk about laying down hands pre-flop, and kings obviously are being very difficult. But you got to realize when you think about it, you go, Hov's not going to make this move without aces or kings. Well, I've got kings in my hand. So what are the odds he has kings?
Exactly.
He's not going to make this move with queens.
No.
So it's one of the few times where you can lay it down. Now Kirk's going to raise it up with 2 black nines, and he's going to make it 120 total. And we're going to get a call from Josh. Josh is calling with a weak ace.
If I know Alan with 8-9 suited, he's going to be in that pot also.
Well, you know what? Once you get a couple of calls from everybody else, why not?
Absolutely, makes sense.
And if you call, you figure Bert might call also with the ace-8 of clubs.
Sure, especially after losing a big pot.
Hey, you can look at how badly Alan is. He's in terrible shape. He's dominated in diamonds. His 9 is no good. His 8 is no good.
Wow.
I mean, if Alan won this hand, it would just be crazy.
He'd have to hit a straight.
Yeah, exactly.
But I've seen Alan pull a rabbit out of his ass more than one time here.
If there's anybody who could do it, it's Alan.
I recall the one-outer when he had kings.
Yeah.
Like huge pot.
And actually, Bert has re-raised this. I'm sorry. Don has away from the table, and I didn't get the action there. It was a call, and now Bert, who might be a little bit steaming here, a little bit tilt action, he has re-raised it 400 more. Now, the pot was 120. The pot was $500, and Bert has re-raised it 400 more. Now, the pot is 900, 400 to call. And if you're Kirk here, is there any way you think Bert is tilting here, and might you re-raise this? I remember Kirk actually...
And I think that's what he's thinking right now.
Kirk has called.
Kirk has called, and he's absolutely done.
He's in great shape.
Great shape.
There's only 2 aces left. Is that going to get Josh? Oh, my God, Josh is going to call.
Wow, and Alan is going to find this hard to lay this down right now.
Yeah, but Alan doesn't have any money, though. He doesn't have enough money. I mean, if you got
But
6,000, 7,000, you can call
but
this.
we're talking about that's Alan here.
I know. Well, this pot is now 900. This pot is now 1,700, 400 to call, and I think that's going to get Alan in the hand.
I think I'm going to go play my. What was that to me?
I was going to ask you, actually, your big blind is next. Why don't you jump back out there after this
Okay,
hand?
let me just.
No, watch this hand.
Watch
Sure.
this hand right here. Oh, and Alan gets away with it. Nice.
Yeah, I think you got to lay that down at that point. It's 400 more. Now, this pot is $1,700 to the flop, and nobody's really got a monster. Flop comes out Jack 7-6. Kirk is good. And if you're Bert, you just move in. Now, Bert's only got about 1,500.
Absolutely, he's moving in.
Kirk's moving all. Now, the way Bert played this hand, okay? Bert limped in the cutoff seat. Wow, and he gets, oh, man.
Gets 9s off.
I got to tell you, if I'm Kirk, I move in on those 9s. I really do. The way Bert played the hand. Remember, Bert limped in on the cutoff seat.
Right.
And you're going to tell me you're going to limp in on the cutoff seat with a hand better than 9s?
No.
10s, jacks, queens, kings?
No.
Probably not. So he limped in,
Absolutely
and now
right.
he's re-raised with 3 people call. I got to think my 9s are good enough.
And maybe Josh has figured this out and said, hey, you know, my 7 might be good here.
Well, Bert's in terrible shape here. I mean, if Josh makes this call, Bert has no backdoor club draw. He needs an 8 and only an 8 or some sort of running straight card.
Running straight.
And you can see the percentages there. Josh is an overwhelming favorite. Really puts him in a tough spot here. Bert is clearly tilting here.
Absolutely. I'm sorry to see this.
I can see you salivating, waiting to get back out there. Now, usually we
I
don't
just
like
hope
people.
Bert doesn't lose this hand. But
Usually we don't like people coming in here and then going back out there. But tonight we're making an exception.
You got napkins?
And look at this. Josh makes a great call.
A great call, and now
Wow, and this
Bert
pot
is in horrible shape.
This
right
pot
here.
is $4,700.
He needs to catch an 8 and an 8 only.
Exactly. And the river's a deuce, and that changes nothing. And Josh is going to double through here, and Bert quickly loses another $2,000. Back-to-back hands, he's down $5,000.
All right, Dave, it was nice being here, but I got to go.
Wow, another big. That was a $4,800 pot that Josh takes down. Nice read by him, huh?
Wow. Yes,
Hey.
excellent. And Kurt's probably kicking himself at this point.
Yeah, of course he is. Well, hey, it was a pleasure having you in here, man.
Delightful. Thank you very much, guys.
I want to thank the Greek Poker God for helping us out tonight. Nice to get the insight of a good poker player, professional poker player. Quite a good player. I got to tell you, when he first started playing, we used to see the Greek Poker God, and Bart and I were both a little hard on him because we thought he played almost a little too passive, a little too predictable. And at this point, though, he's really stepped up his game.
Number 1 playing 5,000.
And I got some more questions here for another professional poker player from Mark Bonagura. And I'll ask the next guy who comes in here, who I think it'll probably be Hav. And when we get him in here, we'll ask him these questions here. Also a question from Jared Pondulik. And his question also is actually applicable to another player as well. So I'll just throw your questions at the next guy. And Bert has rebought for 5,000 more. Wow. Wow, and I got to tell you, man, Bert is steaming. He is really steaming here. Oh, set of deuces for Hav. Set of deuces for Hav, and Alan's got an ace. And Kirk has got an ace as well. You got to tell you, you love having a set there when there's an ace out there. Now, that's a little bit more of a scary board because somebody could have 4 or 5. A lot of scary cards out there, and Hav's going to come out and bet right away. $200 right into it. I don't think he can afford to give a free card. If a diamond, a 5, or a 4 come out, a lot of scary cards can come out here. And Alan will probably call this. No, wow. Alan throws away ace-8 like nothing, and Kirk does too. Great laydown by Alan, I got to tell you. I mean, I know it seems obvious to you and me, but that's a hand that Alan normally would call with. Well played. I mean, easy laydown, but hey, all the power to him.
Small blind, big blind.
I was going to bet. Oh, you got it out of my hand.
What we're going to do is we're going to actually space out our guest commentators. Give you like 20 minutes of just solo me, and then we'll throw somebody else in here for another 15, 20 minutes. And Ronnie's saying that I owed him $5 because he said Bert was going to call. I don't remember taking the bet, though. Don't I have to take the bet? Oh, I'm hearing it's not necessary. As long as Ronnie can actually just, he just pushes it out there and says, You're betting me $1,000, so you owe me.
That's a hell of a raise, Bert. 5,000.
Ace Queen here for Dr. Beebe, and he's going to limp in. That's not a raising hand for him. And we're going to see this 5 ways. $100 pot to the flop. Button's over in seat number 4. And not a bad flop for Ace Queen. You've got some open, you got some draws out there. Now, George has got Jack 9, he's open-ended, but if a king comes, it's pretty obvious, though. Now, Hav has got a gut shot with the pair, bottom pair. Now, BB bets this, and I got to tell you, when BB bets, I usually fold. Obviously, there is a lot of fold equity if you raise them. And if there's anybody who would lay down this, it's BB. I mean, you could actually raise him here, and I'd say 50-50 BB lays it down. I mean, we saw him lay down 2 pair before to Mo.
Small blind, big blind.
Once again, I want to keep the show interactive, so you can email us at live@thebike.com. We're going to get Hollywood Russ in here. We're going to get George. We're going to get Hav in here midnight. And we're even going to get Alan in here, I think. So if you have any questions for them or for me, feel free to send us an email. You can also follow us on a live thread over at 2plus2.com. Go to World Poker Tour and other events, and go to official Live at the Bike thread from May 12th. Button is in seat number 5. And I got to tell you, Bert's game, you watch him, he kind of emulates, he tries to emulate Mo, and it's one of those things where a little bit of information can really be painful for him. And flop comes out King 9-8. It's a rainbow board, and I believe the best hand is Russ with Queen 9. And it checks around. Turns an ace, and that Bert backs into it now. And Bert will probably put a little bet out there.
Betting 50.
Imagine he'll take this down. And he does. Now, the nature of this game we always started out pretty much about 6 o'clock. So it starts off with maybe $25,000, $28,000. But after a couple of people go broke and a couple of people double up, before you know it, we suddenly have $35,000, $37,000 on the table. And sure enough, here it is. Look at that, over $30,000 on the table now. Hav's got the table covered. He's got $6,800. I got to tell you, I think he's got more than that. But who am I to say anything? And the winners there, Hav up $3,800. Josh up $2,500. Great call there with the ace-7. Mo up $1,500. And the rest of the table is down. Bert down $6,000. Russ down $1,000. Man, now this is not one of those 10-20 games that play real big. It's funny when you get Jay Katsutani in the game, or Mike in the game, or Jonas in the game. Winning or losing $3,000 is really nothing. Actually, winning or losing $4,000 or $5,000 is really nothing. But in this game here, in the way this game is playing, I think $4,000 or $5,000 swings are actually pretty big. Now, Russ has raised it up on the button with ace-queen. And Josh is going to call him with a 4 or 5 of diamonds. And we're going to see this heads up. Ace-queen versus 4 or 5. Both players are pretty deep. And, wow, not a bad flop for ace-queen. Russ's flop top 2. And Josh is, looks like Josh is reaching for some chips. Kind of doing the stop and go here. Figures, you know what, maybe that ace is scaring my opponent. Maybe he's got jacks. Maybe he's got 10s. I'll take a shot at it. Little does he know that he's betting right into the nuts here. Now, is there ever a chance you might just smooth call with ace-queen? Now, sometimes I might just smooth call this if I think my opponent is on a complete bluff. You want to almost give him that rope to hang himself. If you raise here, you let him off the hook if he's got nothing. Now, the only problem is oftentimes players will bet their draws. And if Josh has got something like, say, Jack 10 of spades, King 10 of spades, something like that, well, then you're letting him name the price. And Russ is going to slow play it here. He's going to smooth call this.
400 more.
No, he did raise. He did. He announced a raise here. Made it $400 more, and he takes it down. And I don't mind that play. Now, if it was a rainbow board, I might just smooth call Josh, thinking he either has a weak ace or he's got nothing at all. And there's no real urgency. And I know Bart and I always talk about building a pot. But against certain players, and Josh being one of those players, you have to think that they might be bluffing you at absolutely nothing. And once you raise them, you let them off the hook. And in this case, you see that obviously he only had 5 high. If a player is going to bluff you, you don't want to stop them from bluffing you. But at the same time, you've got to realize they could be betting a draw. Pocket jacks this time for Russ. Back-to-back good hands. And ace-jack offsuit for Josh, and he decides to limp in with that hand.
He told me to come last.
And Russ is going to raise again.
For last is what he said. And then he came out and said, you
Raise,
come
make it
last.
100 total.
I can go whenever you want, Mo.
No.
Yeah, he just told me to come last.
3 player.
And we're going to see this three ways, about a $280 pot. Flop comes out king 3-3. And you imagine Russ is going to put some money in the pot, and I think he ought to. Russ obviously in great shape here. And neither player is going to get involved. Russ takes down about a $300 pot.
Thank you.
This is a whole new Kirk, man. I'm curious to see what happens when the button gets back around.
And I see this thread, I see a lot of posts on the 2+2 board talking about not caring for the White Castle movie all that much. Yeah, there are a lot of movies that you kind of have to be stoned to watch, I think. Of course, I don't condone that, but, or do that, but Isaac does.
I'm not going to play here anymore.
And he's told me.
I'm not going to play here anymore. After you guys watch the film, I'm not going to be able to play anymore.
Button moves over to seat number 8. Folds around to BB, and BB's going to raise this up with a couple of 10s. And anytime BB raises it, pretty much gives you a clear indication that you should not be in there. And the problem with even calling BB with a hand, let's say you call BB, let's say you know BB's raising, right? And you figure, okay, BB's got aces, kings, queens, jacks, or 10s. Maybe I can win a big pot. Problem is, though, BB will get away from that hand so easily. I've seen him times where he has kings. Flop comes out 9 high. He bets, a guy raises, and he throws it away without even thinking about it. So there's really no implied odds there. The odds are really more of, can I get him off the hand, which is actually pretty easy. Button moves over to Burt in seat number 1. Once again, we're live at the bike. I'm David Tuckton. We're playing No Limit Hold'em, 10-20 blinds. This is a $1,000 minimum buy-in game, no maximum. And we've got over 30K on the table. And Russ is going to raise it up with king 8 of clubs, and Burt is going to smooth call this, I believe. He is just going to smooth call, and that's, I got to tell you, jacks sometimes are a hand that I don't like to re-raise with. You don't want to commit too many chips that hand. Now Burt has position on Russ, and look at that, he's flopped. Wow, this could be huge. Russ has flopped a flush draw plus the gut shot straight draw, and Burt has flopped top set. And Russ has he actually has 12 outs. Russ can catch a 9 or a club to win this hand, but Burt obviously has redraws. And Russ bets 400 into the pot. Actually, 220, I'm sorry, I saw 4 chips. And Burt's going to smooth call it. That's it. And he's got to dive some cards here. Pot is about $650. Deuce of diamonds is obviously not a scary card. And now what does Russ do here? Russ is going to continue betting here. And if Russ bets a little bit more, I might really build up the pot now. He bets 500 now. And I don't think that's enough. I think you're going to raise this, and I think you make it up to about 1,200 or something like that. And sure enough, he raises the minimum, and the pot is now about 2,200, 500 to call. And if you're Russ, I think you can actually call this. Now, he doesn't have much money, but you can actually call this. The pot is 2,200, 500 to call. I'm getting about 4.5 to 1 on my money. If I figure if I hit a 9, I'm good. If I hit a club, I'm good. You might even put this guy in ace-jack. You might put him on king-jack. Who knows? You never know. Burt even could be tilting. You never know what he has. In this case, actually, Burt has top set. But obviously, a top pair or set makes no difference. In this case, Russ needs a club or a 9 to win this pot. He has 12 outs. You can see that he's about a 3-to-1 dog, but he's getting 4.5 to 1 plus implied odds. I think you can easily call this $500 bet. If you catch, you move all in. But Russ is going to move all in here, and I think that's the bad play here. He's moving all in without hitting anything. Easy call, and there's the club, and look at it. And Russ wins it. Russ doubles up there. And that was 1,200 more, so the pot was 22, 34. Pot was about $4,000 there. and Russ is going to take it down. And I tell you why Russ's play is bad, okay? Now, obviously, the result is the same, but you've got to realize that once Bert raises you there, there's no fold equity, okay? And you only have king high. Now, if you hit your hand, you can then commit all your chips. It's only 600 more, and there's no way that Bert can fold. Because at that point, the pot is going to be about $3,500, 600 to call, and I really don't think Bert can lay down the hands. So I think the call there, I think Russ needed to call that $500 raise. Then when he hits his club, then move in. If he hits a 9, he moves in. I really don't think Bert gets away from it. At that point, the pot is too big. You don't have enough chips. Butt moves over to seat number 2, and I got to tell you, it is not Bert's night. Obviously, some of it's been self-induced, and some of it's just bad beat. That was the first one where he actually had the best hand, and it was really a bad beat. That's funny. He might go home and think about it. God, and he might think about those pocket jacks and what a bad beat he had. But truth be told, he put way too much money in with pocket queens. I think he's getting up and leaving here. He put way too much money in with pocket queens. Obviously, kind of tilting with that ace-8 of clubs, and he tilted through about 6,000 before that hand. Flop is ace-9-3, a couple of diamonds, and no aces out there. But BB's got a 9. Actually, I'm sorry, Russ has got an ace, ace-4. And we say goodbye to Bert.
Betting 50.
And it's funny, when you're running bad, you always think about the bad beat you got, and you don't start thinking about the bad plays you had. And Bert leaves us, and he lost about, I want to say Bert was down about $8,000 for tonight. And we've got a pretty big board for this, so you imagine we'll fill that up real quick. And it looks like we're getting Farhad in the game, so we're really not losing anything there. Butt moves over to seat number 3. I got to tell you, I love having Jay Katsutani or Jonas or Mike in the game. Once in a while, it's nice not having them in the game in the sense that you get to see a little bit more poker. It's not just raise every single hand. The other 5 players just waiting for a big hand to try to snap them off. And Hollywood Russ, I believe, is taking an out button. I think he might be coming to the booth. Button has actually moved over to seat number 4, and it's going to be a small blind on the button, and there's Hollywood Russ coming in. Venturing into the cave. And we got this limped around right now. And we're going to see this flop 4 ways, actually 5 ways, and there's Hollywood Russ. How you doing, Hollywood?
Good.
Good to see you, man.
How you doing?
Nice to have you in the booth.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. We got a flop of Jack 5 deuce. Now, seat number 2 has got a Jack. That's Kirk. He's got Jack 10. Nobody else has got much of anything. I don't see diamond draws out there. Imagine if Kirk puts some money in the pot, and he does. He bets 70 into about a $100 pot, and that should be enough to take it down. So, nice club down the river.
Yeah,
That's
that was
nice.
nice and lucky. Yeah.
Yeah, it's always nice. Now I was just talking about that hand there, and I was saying that I probably would have liked you to just call the bet, knowing there was no fold equity. But if you hit your club or your 9, you could probably push in and get called because the pot was so big there.
Yeah, the reason I moved because I figured that I'm obviously beat, but if I just call, I figured that Bert would put me on some sort of a draw, and I'm not going to get paid on the end.
Okay, so you figured. So that was my thought there. If you figure he might get away from it, I guess why not push in there? I guess my thinking was at that point the pot's almost $3,500. You only had about $600 or $700 left after you called 500.
Yeah, after the 500 would have been about 700 left.
Yeah, and I
so.
thought there's no way he's going to get away from it. But hey, to each their own, right?
Yeah.
Well, it's nice to have you in here.
Thank you.
I'm going to kind of run through the play-by-play, and feel free to jump on in whenever you want with some color.
Alrighty.
If you have any opinions on some of the players here. Now, I was talking.
I have opinions on all of them.
I'm
but
sure.
That's,
that was funny when I talked to George Giorgio. A lot of times when I sit at a table, I try to figure out, who I'm going to be going after, what players I'm going to avoid, and so forth. Now, when you sit at a table, what's the first thing you do?
Really, I start off looking to see who's involved, who I know, who I don't.
Okay.
And I want to see who has chips, where chip position is relative.
Okay.
Um,
And we're going to see this 4 ways. $80 pot. Flop is queen, 8, 8.
now, obviously, we've got the set there. Let's see what he does with it.
Yeah, he's got the trip 8s there. Now, nobody has a queen and nobody else has anything, really. And Hob usually bets it, and he's going to. And I like that play. I mean, the board is a little scary. You don't want, say, some random king or some random 9 or 10 to come off and you lose. Some guy sitting in there with Jack 10
absolutely.
hits a gut shot, and then you lose a whole bunch
Yeah,
of money.
wide check it there. Somebody's got a queen. He's in position, so it looks like he could be betting with just about anything, including a draw at that point. Somebody with a queen might very well give him some action on that.
Exactly.
So, yeah, as we were saying, I look for chips and that kind of stuff. Also, who's in the pot and whatnot. There are certain players that I'm certainly going to look at and go, I'm not so sure this is somebody I want to go out with it unless I've really got a monster sitting in there. These guys, we play so much together, you just kind of get used to certain things.
I mean, is there a player, when you sit down at this table here, is there a player that you respect so much that you just try to avoid? Somebody at this table that you kind of go, like, oh, he's the best player at the table. I don't really want to get mixed up with him.
The only person,
Mo is going to raise, sorry about that.
That's okay.
George actually raised it up, kind of a mini little raise. He made it $70 to go with ace-deuce, kind of a little mini raise, and Mo's got a real hand here. Now, Mo sometimes gets action because he'll do this with nothing also.
Exactly. Like
This time he's
earlier
got a
you
real
saw, I almost gave him action there when I had raised it with that 6-10 suited.
Yeah, lucky he didn't.
Yeah.
He had a real
That's
hand.
what I
that
hear.
time. I think, if I remember correctly, I think Mo had queens there. Now, usually we don't let you guys know what everybody has during the game, but this is kind of a special occasion. Bart's in Chicago. We're all celebrating.
Having a good time in the booth without Bart here.
Yeah, Bart's in Chicago. Evelyn's on vacation. Is she on vacation or is she sick?
She's getting up.
Okay. Just not here. Either way. Any way we look at it. Button was over to seat number 8. So at this table here, who do you think's the best player at this game?
The
And why?
best player?
Yeah.
I have to give Hav and George their respect on this table.
Okay.
Absolutely. Kirk tonight, not knowing what's going on and not looking back, it looks like he's stepping up his game, becoming a little bit more aggressive, which I think is where he's kind of lacked in the past on that. But whether he's truly being aggressive or just happening to catch a lot of cards at this point, I'm not really sure what's what.
You never know sometimes.
Yeah.
Now, I think they're debating whether they want to chop it up or not. I think they're going to just chop it up or they're going to play it. And they're trying, I don't really understand this, and I wish people would explain to you guys. The jackpot is not worth the extra $4 drop. If you don't, Bart and I don't chop.
Right.
We like to play heads up. We like to play in the blinds, and I have no problem with that if you want to play. But if you normally chop it up,
Then you should just chop.
just chop it, because the
Just chop
$4 you're going to pay in
Yeah.
collection is not worth the chance of hitting a jackpot.
Yeah. I know we do the jackpot on this. We even do the jackpot on the 25-50 game, which I'm not a big fan of. I've
No,
got to
I'm not
tell
at
you.
all.
I think sometimes it causes. Now, at this level, not so much, but especially in like the 500 or even the 3-5 game, people play a lot differently when they know there's a jackpot involved than sometimes they would.
And it's crazy, too. I mean, the jackpot's only, right now, I want to say the jackpot's only $16,000 or $17,000. So you're looking at okay, I'm going to throw $6,000 away to try to win a jackpot?
Yeah, that no.
Yeah, and we're going to get another chopped around here. And is there a person you might, if you sit down at this table here, is there a person you might go, okay, that's where I'm going to make the bulk of my income from tonight? I mean, I know that's what I do sometimes when I sit at the table. Is there somebody that you might go, okay, this is the guy I'm going to hit my table from?
Not.
Is that suggestive there,
Yeah.
Isaac? as Isaac goes by Josh's face.
I'm sorry, I shouldn't be laughing. There's not really the people that I'm.
We're politically
most-
incorrect here. I hope you
Yeah,
know.
the people that I'd really like to play with the most pots with are going to be Josh, Allen, and Mo of the three.
Okay.
You
And
know,
Mo, obviously, because he gives so much action.
he gives so much action.
Allen, because why? Because he calls
Allen
with
because
some inferior
he'll
hands?
chase so much.
Okay. Now, Mo is going to raise this up to $70 with ace-7. And Allen's just going to smooth call with ace-king. And Josh is going to call it deuces, and that's going to bring in Hob with 10s. And we're going to see this 4 ways times 7. We got a $280 pot to flop.
That's kind of interesting here with Hob. He's got the 10s and just calls at this point.
And flop is Jack 7-5. That's the one thing with 10s. You really have no idea where you're at now. He has the best hands, but he doesn't know where he's at. He's going to check it over to Mo. Actually, well, he hasn't done anything yet. And Mo couldn't wait to get chips in there.
Now you got me all scared.
Hey, look at how
I
safe.
was gonna, but now I'm gonna check.
Now, see, that's the second time tonight I've seen that from Hob, where he makes a motion with his hand and then says he's not checking. So I'm not really sure what's going on there.
Yeah. And Hob is going to check call. And the pot is now $680. And Mo said he's on a draw. And he is. He's on a two-pair draw. Well, now he's on a spade draw on a two-pair draw. Six of spades gives him a lot of outs there. He can catch an ace, a 7, a spade.
Yeah, this is just an ugly board.
And that's a
for
scary
Hob.
board now.
Just an ugly
Hob's
board.
got 2 red 10s. Not much Hob can beat except a pure bluff. But Mo could be bluffing. Now, the pot is going to be about $1,000, $300 to call. Really puts you in a tough spot, huh?
It does. It does. I mean, this is... I was kind of surprised to see Hob just call earlier because he's been aggressive when he's had those good hands.
And he's going to let this go. He's going to throw it away, and Mo's going to earn himself a pot. And the river would have been the 5 of diamonds. Wouldn't have changed anything. Hob would have won it with 2-pair over Mo's 2-pair, but we never got there. So obviously you're saying, so Allen, because he does chase so much.
He chases a lot, yes. Yeah, he will, and he just, when you bet, he just never wants to give anybody credit, it seems like a lot of times.
Right, I got you.
You're beat on the flop, but it's a good 10-card play.
And you're saying Josh, and Josh for any particular reason?
You know, Josh sometimes gets in a groove where he just seems to be splashing around quite a bit. You know.
We were saying that he kind of has a lot of he has a lot of WPT in him, you know, in the sense that he's watched the show and he's like, well, I can make a move on this guy. I can make a move on this guy. I'm going to make a move here. And you don't realize that obviously in a cash game, making moves is a very small part of the game. You know, every once in a while you make a move, but not. They're very few and far between.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the blinds are just so small relative to everybody's chip stack in this game.
No problem.
Now, I got an email here from Turje out of Norway, actually. And I'm going to read it in a second here. It says, hello, I love your live webcast, love your comments. I like the play from Hollywood Russ. Can you tell me how long he's played poker, and is he a professional player?
Yeah, actually, I'm not a professional player. I actually work in real estate selling new homes. And here in Southern California, fortunately for me, that's been a really good business for the past several years.
Not bad at all.
Not bad. And I actually have only been playing for 2 years. Learned because my youngest son wanted to learn to play poker. And so I went and bought a couple of books, had no idea what I was doing. And he used to consistently kick my butt at home for doubling and tripling through his allowance week in, week out. And that's kind of how I got started on this.
Now look at this. We got the 4th heart on the board. It gives George trips, but Josh backs into the jack of hearts. He's got the flush now. And if you're Josh, would you ever bet this on the button? And Josh is going to bet this.
It's been checked to him. I mean,
he figures his jack's is good, and maybe he can get paid off by, say, a king, or maybe he can get paid off by a 10. You know, 10 of hearts or an 8 of hearts.
Absolutely.
Obviously, he doesn't get paid off here and takes it down. And doesn't show. Get a new player in seat number 1. His name is Lloyd. And he's new to the game. Never played on Live with Mike. Always interested to see a new player.
I think that makes it a lot more fun with this game when we get new players. And, you know, a lot of times we sit down and it's the same 7 or 8 guys, pretty much week in, week out, me being one of them.
Yeah, we've got about a 25-person group that it kind of rotates through.
Yeah.
Obviously, you, Alan, Mo being a lot of the mainstays of the game. So it's about 2 years you've been playing.
Just a little over 2 years, yeah.
And you've really escalated your game. I mean, to start just 2 years ago, and now you're playing the 25-50, the whale game on Wednesday nights.
Right.
I mean,
yeah.
How do you jump up that fast so quickly? I mean,
you know, I love to compete. Is really what it boils down to. I love to compete. And watching, you know, there's always some guys. Jonas, obviously, Wednesday night, that really awful move into Jonas. So there are certainly some things I still need to learn about that. But Jonas and Jason are really the only two in that I really try and avoid at all costs. And I'm trying to get better about reading those guys and putting them on a hand.
And it's tough to avoid those guys, obviously, because they're always in a pot.
If one of them isn't in it, the other one is almost every hand. So
it becomes difficult. Now, Dr. Beebe actually backs into the best hand here. He gets an 8 on the river. And he's going to win this with a pair of 8s. And Allen's not going to win. Now, you wonder why Allen didn't bet that. I got to tell you, if I have A7 there, you know, maybe I don't bet the flop, but I certainly bet the turn. I don't want some free card to come off and let Dr. Beebe get there.
Exactly.
Especially Dr. Beebe. Dr. Beebe is the kind of player that is not going to make a move on you. You know what I mean? If you were to bet there and say against Jonas or Mo or somebody like that, they might check raise you.
Absolutely, with nothing.
But Beebe's not going to do that.
No, not Dr. Beebe.
So you can safely bet that if he raises you, you know you're beat and you throw it away.
Easy enough to get away from at that point. Even a call, then you just stop and you're done with that.
Exactly. So you sell, that's pretty cool. Selling new homes. Well, how can somebody buy a new home from you?
I right now between neighborhoods, so I'm waiting for a new neighborhood to start up, unfortunately, right at the moment.
There you go.
I've worked for several builders, though, here in the area.
Cool. Sounds great. Well, we're going to see this heads actually three ways, limped around, $60 pot. Flop is Jack 4 deuce. And we got a couple of jacks in there. We've got Queen Jack for BB and Jack 6 for Mo. And Mo's going to call this. And you always wonder why Mo is calling this. I mean, it's BB betting.
BB of all people, you know.
And Mo might be calling to set up a move here. Now, he has picked up a draw. He needs a 5 or a 6 to win this hand. And that's it. His kicker's not going to play. I mean, his kicker will play, and he's in trouble. And BB gets another $50, and this pot is quickly about $260. The river is an 8 of spades, and BB might bet it. He's going to check it.
Yeah.
And Mo is going to check it down, and sure enough, he's going to lose. And I got to tell you, against BB, Jack 6, I got to throw it in the muck. You?
Yeah, absolutely against Dr. BB. The only thing I can think is Mo's got position. He sees the diamond flush draw out there. Maybe he's thinking that he's going to put a move on him if a diamond rolls off.
Definitely.
Because it's pretty safe bet that Dr. BB is not going to call a big raise for Mo if a diamond rolls off.
Yeah, I mean, earlier we had Dr. BB actually lay down 2 pair to Mo's raise, and Mo only had a draw. And you're probably right there. Obviously, if Mo catches a 5, he hits a straight. If he catches a 6, he wins with 2 pair. And if he hits a diamond, he can probably represent the flush and get baby off the hands.
Absolutely.
So we often see that all the time.
Which I think is really starting. A lot of which you'll see a lot more on the Wednesday night game is guys looking for those positions where they can represent something that maybe isn't really what they've got anyway.
Right. Now, I had an interesting hand versus you about, I want to say about 2 weeks ago, where you called me down with 2 red kings. Do you remember the hand? It was a 10-20 game. And I had a straight draw, but the river was the club plus the top pair board. The top card on the board paired up, and it was a queen.
Mm-hmm.
You remember the hand or no?
I vaguely do, but
okay, then
yeah.
I'm not going to bore our
yeah,
audience
I'm afraid I
with
can't go into great detail on that.
Okay. It's funny because I was talking. I actually put it in my blog and I throw it out there. So I was really amazed that you called me down, and especially after you showed me what you had, and I was like, wow, I was like, what a call. And curious to get your input on it, but if you don't remember the hand, obviously it'll be tough.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that, Dave.
No, it's okay.
I don't recall all the details on that one.
Now, Hob is betting this. Now, Allen had raised, and they all checked to Hob, and Hob's going to bet it, and Josh is going to call this with nothing. I mean, it's funny. Hob actually gets Allen off the hand. Turn is a 6. That changes nothing, and you think Josh is maybe making a move here. He does have a gut shot to the straight draw. He can catch a queen. Hob is still good with an ace, and is he going to fire again? He's thinking he needs to. I mean, the board is not real draw heavy. I mean, maybe somebody's got 10-8. Maybe somebody's got queen 10, right?
Possibly, yeah.
But besides that, you've got to think you're beat. And Josh just decided to take one off, and Hob's going to win it with ace high. Takes it down. Nice bet on the turn. And the river actually would have been the king of hearts, and Josh would have backed into the best hands.
You have to kind of wonder about that call there from Josh. I mean, yes, he does have an overcard to the board, and yes, he does have the gut shot straight draw, but it's kind of interesting that he would decide, especially against Hob of all people.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I mean, Hob is so rarely getting out of line, and that's what's really successful about Hob's game is that he will make a move, maybe once or twice a night.
A couple times a night, yeah.
Doesn't do it too much. Once again, if you want to email us, you can email us at live@thebike.com. Get an email here from Army Pants. He says, hey, man, Russ is a really classy dresser. I just want to know, where do you get all of your card shirts?
Actually, they kind of come from a couple different places. The one with the aces all over them, that came from a Western wear store over in Ventura. And then the Big Bad Wolf Poker Club, actually, believe it or not, came from Disneyland of all places.
That works, eh?
So,
Flop is queen, queen, deuce here. Nobody's got a queen. Lloyd has got a deuce 6. He's got 2 pair. And BB is going to bet on a stone-cold bluff here, and I don't think anybody can call him. And the one thing with BB's game is we've always pointed out BB rarely bets his trips. He'll usually check it. So at this point you go, okay, well, what does BB probably have? He probably has a pocket pair maybe. Maybe he's got a deuce in his hand. Maybe he's betting a heart draw.
well, but because Dr. BB makes so few moves, we all know this, that
you almost have to respect him.
You just take it for what it is and move on.
Yeah.
I mean,
you're not going to make a living kind of catching BB bluff.
No. Snapping off a bluff from Dr. BB is not going to make your night by any.
No, not at all. So once again, we're live at the bike. I'm David Tuckman here with Russ. What the heck is your last name?
My last name is Pratt. P-R-A-T-T.
Russ Pratt. And we're watching No Limit Hold'em. Blinds are 10 and 20. This is an unrestricted buy-in game. Minimum buy-in is 1,000, and we've got about 30K on the table. Now, Hav is going to make it 100 to go with Ace 10 of Hearts. And BB's going to smooth call him with a hand that dominates. He's got Ace Queen. That might bring Lloyd in. I got to tell you, if you're deep enough with your Lloyd here, you might call with pocket threes, and that'll probably bring in Kirk with deuces. And we're going to see this flop at $400 in the pot to the flop. And there's a set of threes for Lloyd. Now, unfortunately for Lloyd, he's going to check it. Unfortunately for him, nobody's got anything. Now, I often like to bet right in with my threes there. Now, you know me, I'm a pretty aggressive player. I'll also bet my draws. I'll also bet pretty much nothing. So if I bet my set also, oftentimes if somebody has queens or kings, it's really hard for them to give me credit.
Right, absolutely.
Yeah, and Ronnie correctly points out, I just like to bet. And everybody checks around. There's a free card, and let's see if anybody gets anything. Well, now he's got threes full, and he's going to check it one more time. And we always say, man, you got to build up a pot.
One more time.
And now you think, is
here comes
BB? Well, BB's going to buy it a little bit.
250.
And he bets 250 into $400 pot. Pot 650.
Raise it.
And you get a raise here. And, sometimes you just got to realize you're not going to make any money on a pot. It's just not destined to make it.
It's just not going to happen. We've all had those nights.
Yeah. And it's an easy laydown for BB, and Lloyd takes it down. Not much for implied odds there with his threes.
No, but I got to like the fact that he raises there, just on the off chance of BB, because he took there, maybe had pocket sixes or eights.
Definitely, why not?
You don't certainly want one of those to roll off for free and give him a bigger full house at that point.
And now Lloyd doesn't know BB, obviously. Now, sometimes you can actually raise there. And if you're playing against a really aggressive player, they might think you're making a move on them because you think they're trying to steal.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I mean? It's kind of like a thinking one step ahead, like, wait a second, is this guy trying to steal a pot because he has nothing? He didn't bet the flop. Okay, well, he probably has nothing, so I'm going to try to steal it. And then you start going, well, he's trying to steal it because he thinks I'm stealing it. Well, let me re-steal it.
Yeah, especially if you've got, like, say, a Mike and a Jonas and a KK in there.
Exactly.
You can certainly wind up with that type of action going on.
You end up getting an $8,000 pot, and somebody's got wins it with king high.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what ends up happening. Blinds are coming around to you. We'll get a couple more hands with you in the booth, and then we'll throw you back out there.
Sounds great.
I want to really appreciate you coming in here, giving us your
My
insight.
pleasure. I got to tell you, this is quite the impressive setup in here.
I'm glad you enjoyed it. So anybody who's watching here, I'm just curious, what would your advice be to somebody who's starting out playing for the first couple of times? You know, since you just jumped into this game, what would be your advice to somebody who's trying to move up the levels? Maybe somebody's playing, say, $200 no limit at home, even say the 3 to 5 game, and they're trying to move up. Any advice you might have for them?
I think, two of the biggest things, and one of them will stay with you forever, is the patience aspect of it. You have to be patient. This isn't a get-rich-quick scheme. It's certainly not for most people going to wind up where they wind up.
Here, this is BB, but in a nutshell, I hate to interrupt you. BB flopped a straight. He flopped the nut straight with 2 diamonds out there. He checked it. And now Kirk is going to take a shot at it. He picked up a flush draw. He also is open-ended with the flush draw. He's got a monster draw. Little does he know, though, that BB's already there. And of course, BB raises this. And Kirk easily throws it away. I mean, that's the one thing with
Easy
BB.
enough,
If
yeah.
you're ever paying attention and BB raises, throw,
Good
run,
night.
go away.
Run as fast as you can.
Yeah, now the river was a 9. Wouldn't have changed anything. 9 of spades. And BB takes down a pot.
I think,
So
like
you're
I
saying
said,
patience.
I think, is a big factor in it. For me, it was coming over like with the 10-20 and even the whale game, taking a hit at it and going back to the regular game I was playing, trying to learn from, what did I see, what happened, then going back and trying to put that back into use, then taking another shot at it.
Buttons over in seat number 2. We got a chip down here. Almost 30,000 on the table. Hobb with 7,500. Wow. Josh with almost 5,000. Mo with almost 5,000. Lloyd bringing up the rear. He's only got 1,500. Yeah, now Hobb is a big winner. He's up 4,400 for the night. Mo up 2,500. Russ, you're up about 1,500 for the night, it says.
Yeah, not too bad.
Not bad. And I got to tell you, you're doing pretty well considering you're in here.
Yes, and I'm not at the
Allen
table.
down 1,000. And our big loser, obviously, is Bird. He's not at the table anymore. He lost about 7,000.
Yeah, Bert had a kind of a rough night there.
Well, I mean, a lot of it was self-induced. I mean, he really needed to get rid of queens when Hobb raised, and we pointed that out.
Yeah.
George was in the booth at the time. They go, Hob raises, you re-raise, and now Hob moves in. Queens are no good,
That's, yeah.
pretty much. Now we're going to see this heads up here. It was raised. Pot's about $220. Flop comes out 10, deuce, 3, and Lloyd has made another set. I guess Lloyd only makes sets here?
Yeah, I think that's all he's playing tonight.
Now, I like this bet. I really do. A lot of people like to slow play their set here. I like the bet here. You might get Josh to make a move.
Yeah, there's only the one overcard.
Exactly.
You know, I mean, that's...
And let's see what he does. And he said raise. There you go. Look at it. Now, how big was the bet by Lloyd?
400.
The bet was 80. It was a kind of a weak bet. Oh, wow. And seat 1 moves all in. And that was probably the mistake. I love the bet there, but now he let Josh off the hook.
Yeah, absolutely.
He bets 80. Now Josh makes it 480, okay? He thinks you're weak, so he makes it 480. Now, if you smooth call him in position, what is Josh going to do on the turn? He has to bet.
Exactly. Yeah, just a smooth call there represents that you got 2 overcards. Let me take 1 off, and you're praying that the biggest card that comes is a 6 or a 7.
Exactly, and if it's a non-hard, if it was a black 5 or 6 or 7 or something like that, Josh is probably going to bet 500 or 600 in there.
Absolutely.
And then you raise him up. Well, hey, you were up in a second, so I want to thank you.
My pleasure.
This was
Thank you
awesome,
for
man.
having me in
Really
here.
appreciate it.
Guys, great seeing you.
Yep.
Don't get to see the guys behind the scenes too much back here, but
There
it's
he
a
is,
pleasure to be
the
there.
myth, the legend, Hollywood Russ.
Thank you
Thanks
much,
a lot,
guys.
buddy.
Have
Good
a good
luck out
night.
there. Back to the game. Seat number 3. He's got the button. That's Josh. And you see that bet there. He didn't slow play his 10s. And he did put a little weak bet out there. And Josh bit there. He makes the raise, trying to represent, trying to take it away from maybe 2 overcards. But then by moving all in there with the set of 10s, you're letting the guy off the hook. Flop comes out 10-7-5. Couple of hearts. And seat number 7, BB's got a heart draw. He's got Queen 8. He's got a pretty big draw there. King 8, I'm sorry. And he bets $50 with his heart draw, and Josh is going to call. He's open-ended. Now, if if the 3 of hearts were to come out, you talk about reverse implied odds. And the ace doesn't change anything. King high is still good, by the way, here. And BB is going to bet again with his heart draw, and I like the bet, kind of naming his price for his draw, and he bets $100 into about a $250 pot, $220 pot. Pot's $320 now, and Josh is going to call, and the pot is quickly $450. And the river brings the 9, and that changes nothing, and King high is good. And BB's going to have to bluff at this. I mean, he doesn't have to. Look at that. He checks it. Now Josh might bluff at it. Wow, and BB missed his draw. Figures that his opponent must have a 10 or a 7. But Josh has got absolutely nothing. He's got 6 high. BB can win this with King high. But you imagine, there it goes. Josh is going to bluff at it. And BB throws it away before Josh even puts the money out there. You got to love that. Josh picks up a pot there.
What happened here? You guys had your food by now.
It's like a half hour, man.
Got about an hour left in the show. We're going to get a couple of more commentators in here. We're going to get Alan in here for better or worse, or for at least your amusement, my amusement. Got a question here from Dale. He says, hey, man, awesome show. Quick question. I am constantly hearing the phrase fold equity. Please explain exactly what that means. In fold equity, as you have a setup here, I'll tell you really quick. Fold equity is pretty much what are the chances my opponent might fold, okay? When I raise him or when I bet into him, what are the odds he might fold, okay? And that's the equity, I suppose you would say, or the chances. So let's say I raise my opponent with a heart draw, okay? Let's say I have a flush draw. And let's say I'm going, okay, well, there's a 33% chance I'm going to hit my hearts. Okay, that's pretty good. But let's say there's also a 33% chance my opponent's going to fold. Well, okay. Well, now I can win the hand by him folding. I can win the hand by me hitting hearts. And then the other 33% chance I lose. Okay? Oftentimes why we say betting is better than calling. Because when you call somebody, the only way you can win the pot is by showing down the best hand. But when you're betting or you're raising, you also have that fold equity. Your opponent can fold the hand. Okay. Still going a setup here. Now, I got a couple of funny things that I've got to throw at people because it's just amazing. I got to tell you how bad the LA Times is. It's such a joke. You realize on page 1 of the LA Times, there was an article about a homeless Clipper fan? Now, we always talk about money management here. Now, talk about money management skills. This guy makes $10,000 a year, and he spends $3,300 of it on Clippers season tickets. Okay, you're spending 33% of your money on Clippers season tickets? Dude, bad money management, okay? Really bad. Okay. This guy, his name is Carl Cook, and he rides his bicycle to every game. Now, it's a nice, sweet story, but it's on the front page of the LA Times. What a pathetic newspaper, I got to tell you. That is just sad. Jesus, exactly, Ronnie. No fold equity in that story at all. Man. Putton moves over to seat number 4. How are the Clippers doing, by the way? It is game 3. I know they're playing tonight, Ronnie. That's why I asked. Button moves over to seat number 4. We got a... Is that a... No, it's a $20 call by Kirk and then a $20 call by Josh. Then a call by George and a call by Russ. And we're going to see this 4 ways, $80 pot. Flop comes out, King, Jack, 9, Rainbow. And not much of anything, actually. George open folds. River turn is an ace. That changes nothing. Actually, Kirk's got the best hand. He's got an ace-8. And he's going to bet it. And that'll probably be enough to take it down. Kirk folds, Russ folds. Nobody's really even paying attention. They're all eating. Oftentimes, it's a tell. If somebody's eating food, and they're all eating shish kebab here, oftentimes if somebody's eating and they play a hand, usually represents they probably have a big hand there. Oftentimes if you're eating, you're kind of going through the motions. You're not looking to play kind of suited connectors. You're looking to kind of play hands where you don't have to pay too much attention.
I'm going to have to buy it for $14.95 just to get this. It's worth it. It's going to be worth it.
The guy doesn't need, Ronnie's asking me if he's going to get free tickets. He doesn't need free tickets. He already pays for season tickets. The guy makes $10,000 a year. He works at a laundromat, and he pays 33% of that on season tickets to the Clippers. Hello? Now, fortunately for him, you wonder if he's actually not that. He's probably pretty smart because he actually lives on one of his friend's boats in Marina Del Rey. So he's not doing too bad, I got to tell you.
Actually, no, I did say I like to.
My big joke was I can't believe it on the front page of the LA Times. The LA Times is always trying to make themselves out to be like, the Washington Post or the New York Times. Please, it's more like the National Enquirer. And Button is over in seat 5, and we're going to see this 4 ways, limps around, $80 pot. There are the hands. The flop is Queen 4-3, and wow, not a bad flop for Russ. Russ has got Russ is open-ended with Deuce 5, and he's going to bet it. And he bets about $100 into the pot. He bets the pot. And Hav is going to, what is he going to do with Queen 9? He's going to call. Pot is now about $250. It is a rainbow board. Turns a 9, and now Hav's got 2 pair. And if you're Russ, you're probably going to bet again with your draw. And if you're Hav, you're probably going to raise your top 2. And he bets 150, kind of a little stop bet, kind of a little let me name my price for my draw bet. And if you're Hav, I think you make it quickly $500 or $600 and you take the pot down. And sure enough, he is going to raise. He makes it 400. So he makes it 250 more. And this is really a math question now. If you're Russ, you got to go, okay, well, do I have the odds to call? I'm a 4-1 dog. And if I hit my hand, am I going to get paid off? And you know what? You might get paid off. It's not really if, say, an ace comes off or maybe a 6 comes off, you might get paid. Really a math question here. The pot is now, I want to say, 300. Pot is now about $1,100 when he calls, and sure enough, he calls. Pot's $1,100. It was about $900 with $250 to call, $950, $250 to call. River's a 7 of hearts, changes nothing. And Russ is probably going to just check, and obviously Hav will put in a little value bet, and Russ will throw away 5 high. And I am excited to say I've got a cauliflower in the booth with me. I've got Boston. Okay, Russ, throw your hand away. Come on, buddy. We know you're folding. There you go. And how you doing, buddy?
I'm good, man. How are you?
See you.
Nice to see you.
I got a cauliflower in the booth.
What's up, everybody?
Boston in the booth. Now, you're a 2+2 guy, right?
I actually read it, but I don't actually post.
You don't? Okay, so you don't have any...
I've never signed up for...
Why not?
Lazy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good
I like to read it. I don't know what I would say.
There you go. Okay. Well, we got a 10-20 no-limit game going on.
Yeah.
Game's pretty good. We got nobody really, action-filled.
Yeah, I was watching earlier. I had to work a little late tonight. But This is definitely.
Hey, did
not
you see
necessarily a
Burt
good
calling
thing.
with queens?
I didn't see that. I was probably
You didn't
not
see
there.
it? Okay.
Yeah.
I'll just tell you. I'll give you the hand real quick. Josh raises, Hav re-raises. You've got queens, and you re-raise again, okay?
Yeah.
Now Hav moves all in. What do you do with queens?
I fold.
Yeah, I mean, it's an easy fold, right?
Hob moves in, I'm out.
Yeah, but it wasn't like Hav just moved out all in.
Right.
Hav re-raised some guy.
Right.
Now you 3-bet it, and Hav 4-bets it all in.
Yeah, I think I'd
I
have
mean,
to fold.
come on. What can queens be?
Depending on how much money I had at that point, too. But
Yeah, I mean, the pot was 6,000. It was another 2,200 to call. But at that point, you got to
Yeah.
realize you're a big dog.
what did I just say? It depends.
Yeah,
But
always.
Always.
King, Jack, Jack, and Kirk's got top pair here. Now, Hav's got 10s, and he likes... Kirk's actually not in, so Hav's got the best hand here with 10s. And he also is in position. Russ is behind him on the button. But Hav's going to put a little money out there and see where he's at.
I didn't realize how sweet a setup you had, man.
Yeah, it's real smooth.
This is nice.
Sweet. I'll tell you, we used to be in a closet. They tripled our space, and they put us in here. And Hav's going to take this down.
Yeah, nobody's going to call.
Now, I have a question. Are you now a professional poker player?
No.
Okay, you have another job?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so this is not your profession. You just do it for fun and maybe a supplemental income.
If the IRS is listening, I don't actually play poker.
Or you lose. When you
Yeah,
flip
I
up.
lose.
Right, okay, I got
Yeah.
you.
I got table share on a jackpot a couple months ago, and I was like, uh-oh. W-2 coming in the
Yeah,
mail.
those jackpots. The jackpots.
$10.99.
Just, I got to tell you, if it was up to me, I'd never see a jackpot again in my life. I hate 'em.
I know. I know you guys, you and Bart bitch about that all the time.
I'd probably put 10 grand in jackpots, 15,000 in jackpots
Yeah.
the last couple of years,
You'd have to hit the 100,000 one.
just to break even.
Not a good talker anyway.
Yeah, this is a good setup in here. This table is a little interesting tonight.
And I got an email here from Adam
Yeah.
talking about Russ, but Russ unfortunately has already left the booth. But he did say, hey, I just wanted to say hi to you this evening and wanted to let Russ know that I enjoy watching him play. I know he watches the archives, so he knows how much you think his game's improved. I just wanted to know what he wanted to know what Russ thinks about his new loose caller status.
Oh, interesting.
And unfortunately, Russ is not in the booth, but
Yeah,
does
Russ-
listen.
I've been enjoying watching Russ.
He's definitely opened up his game over the last couple of months, huh?
Yeah, he's cruising.
Got a nice email here from Bill over at Card Sharks. Thanks a lot, appreciate it. Button's moved over to seat number 8. That's Mo. I'm going to try to do play-by-play. Jump in with any
Definitely,
color.
yeah, definitely.
Now, I've asked everybody the same question. I'm
Yeah.
curious what you think. When you sit down at a table, what's the first thing you do?
I look at the chip stacks.
Okay.
I see who's at the table, see who I know, who I don't know. I mean, I've just been sort of stepping up into the 500 game the last month or so.
Yeah, I've noticed that.
And I've played the 10-20 at some other casinos now and again. Haven't played on this particular game, but you would, see who's in the game. Like, I know all these players.
Now, BB's going to raise it up with Ace-King here in the cutoff season. Makes it 120 to go after Russ limps in, after George limps in.
BB's raising late. I'm probably out.
Yeah, I always try to say, I go, you know what? Sometimes I'll call and just try to take it away from him,
Yeah.
almost like a stop and go. I'll call him and then just bet no matter what comes out, figuring that if he missed, I can take it away from him. But you've got to realize that even if you hit your set against BB,
Yeah.
he throws away aces like they're nothing.
Right.
So there's really no implied odds there.
Yeah, no, it's definitely that's yeah. You see, it's sort of like you get a handle on the table for the first little while and see, because every night somebody might be playing differently. They
Yeah.
might have had a bad night the night before, so tonight they might be playing a little tighter. They might not be making as many moves.
We always try to point that out. Obviously, if you kind of stick with the one image of a guy like, okay, this guy plays like this, and you're stubborn about it, and you always think that guy plays like that, you got to realize that some guys, if they're winning, they play different than they're losing. If
Yeah.
they've had a bad week, they play differently. A whole bunch of different things change.
Yeah, and some of these players, after we've been playing on the show, and if we subscribe to the archives like I do, then you sort of watch yourself. You watch other players develop as time goes by, and you see somebody like Kirk who maybe one night starts making a few moves, which is probably pretty rare, but he tries once in a while, and so you kind of put that in your mental file and go from there.
Now, we got about a $260 pot. It was raised by Mo, and we're going to see it heads up here. Queen 9 versus 5-8. About a $260 pot to the flop. King 9 deuce, and Mo is pretty good about following through, and
Yeah,
sure enough, Josh is going to check it.
He's going to bet this.
And
Oh,
Mo,
he
yeah.
checked it.
Wow. You know
Now
what?
Mo will definitely bet, I would think.
Unless Josh takes a shot at it, Josh loves to bluff.
Oh. Now,
Mo,
Josh, I haven't seen Josh before, but he seems like he's pretty loose from the first little hour
Yeah.
I saw.
Try to point out that he's got a little bit of World Poker Tour on him.
Yeah.
And Mo, like I said, Mo likes to give him just enough rope to hang himself.
Uh-oh.
And that changes nothing. I mean, if anything, that probably gives Mo a little more ammunition, thinking his hand is the best one.
Little more information, perhaps now he probably doesn't have a king. The odds are that he doesn't have a king.
And Josh is going to fire her, and I got to bet Mo is going to call this almost immediately.
Mo will call this down.
Yeah, I'd be shocked if he folded this down.
Unless he thought that Josh was in there with a deuce, but I don't think. I think Mo will at least call. He's probably contemplating the raise, perhaps here.
Yeah, I don't see much value in raising it. Is there?
Probably.
I mean, if
not.
you raise this, is there any way you can get called by a better hand, by a worse hand?
No, but I think he's trying to figure out if the guy didn't have a king. If he doesn't want to show down his hand, how he said.
Right, I see what you mean. You're right. Of course, yeah.
Mo's actually thinking about laying this down.
No, he can't lay this down. Not the way he played it.
Look at the way he's playing his cards. Yep, with his hands.
Exactly. He can't beat anything except the bluff, but Josh bluffs. And he knows that. That's the shocking thing. He knows Josh bluffs.
Playing with his cards, shuffling his cards. I think he's actually going to lay this down. Oh. No, he's going to say, okay, I call you.
He said exactly.
He's just probably going to call the whole time, right?
I think he was going to call the whole time.
Yeah.
He goes, I can't beat anything. I can't beat anything. I can't beat nothing. You have to have me beat. There's no way. Okay,
I give you money.
I give you a gift.
I give you money.
Yeah.
And he takes the pot.
9-10.
I was going to say, I thought Mo kind of induced that bluff. Let Josh do it, and sure enough, he made, leave it to Mo. He's got Queen 9. He's got no real hand.
No.
And somehow he makes $500 on it.
Yeah. He was just giving him some time to think about it to make sure.
Now, if you sat down at this table here,
yeah.
Now you know a lot of these guys at this table.
I know everybody but Josh.
Okay, now is there a guy, now you might sit down at this table, now you know the show's politically incorrect. I don't want no foo-foo bullshit answer.
Yeah,
okay?
but see, the thing is, you
I have to go out there and face the music too, okay?
Yeah.
Is there a guy you go, okay, that's the guy I want to mix it up with. That's the guy I'm going to try to get.
Actually, you'll be surprised at this. George.
Okay, wow.
Yeah.
Great poker god.
Yeah, I think.
And why? I'm curious why.
To be politically incorrect.
How about just being honest for a change?
Be as honest as possible. I think he thinks he's better than he is.
Okay, good enough answer there.
So.
And you think he makes mistakes?
I think he'll make some mistakes. He'll overplay some things once in a while, and especially when he gets on tilt.
Okay.
When he gets on tilt, for sure, you want to play with George.
Okay, well, we got it 5 ways here. George is in the pot.
I love to mix it up with Mo, too, but
Ace 7 deuce.
Looks like nobody has an ace.
No, the best hand actually is Mo with a deuce.
He's not even in there, though.
No, he's not, actually. Okay, thank you.
He's not in there.
Yeah, you got to rely on it. It's amazing.
King high, Josh.
Yeah, now Russ has picked up a pair. He's got Queen 8. 8 on the turn.
Okay.
We got a $90 bet. Okay, now is there a player at this? Now Russ is going to bet it, and I imagine he's going to take it down.
Now Dr. B. Before.
Is there a player at this game you would not want to mix it up with?
I wouldn't want to mix it up with Alan.
Really? Come on, you got to be kidding me.
I'm just kidding.
Okay, who seriously though?
That I wouldn't want to?
Yeah, you got. I know sometimes I sit at a table. I just go, you know what? There's really no value in me mixing it up with this guy.
Yeah, of course it depends, but probably Hav.
Okay.
In terms of like mixing it up.
Yeah.
Probably
now Hav and George sleep together.
Yes, I do. They're quite fond of each other. You don't really see it, but they touch each other under the table now.
Yeah. Well, it was funny. Hav earlier when he had aces, it was clear that he got a boner.
Yeah.
And I was sure that George wanted to. George is actually sitting there. He was dying to run out there and look at it and touch it.
Yeah.
But hey.
They take showers together. It's all right. It's all good.
Live at the bike, man.
There's
we do everything
wrong with
here.
that.
No, there's really nothing.
Los
It's 2006, man. Nothing wrong with some broke back love, some gay love, you know?
We love it.
Yeah.
We love it.
Hey, all the power to him. Now, I've got Alan in the booth.
Yeah, definitely.
And I promised I really want to get, we want to get inside the head of Alan.
Oh, we got to. I'll step away for a few minutes, let Alan know.
Well, we do appreciate it, man. Thanks a lot for coming down.
Yeah.
You going to go jump in a 500 game? Cool. I want to thank Boston there. Boston, one of the good guys, a real good player. We like to call him the cauliflower of Live at the Bike. And we're going to get Alan in the booth. Now, Mo raises it pre-flop, and he's going to take it down.
You saw that was his hand.
No, I was going there.
Oh, all right. Well, so you get $120, man.
Button is moving over to seat number 5. Small blind, $10. Big blinds, $20. And we've got Alan, folks. I have been dying for this moment. How you doing?
Thanks for having me here.
Oh, man, this is great. This is absolutely fabulous.
I could never imagine being here.
I got to tell you, I have no idea what goes inside your head. We sit here and we try to get inside people's heads, and I feel like I've done a pretty good job with almost everybody. But routinely I go, I don't know what Alan's thinking. I don't know what Alan's doing. I don't know what Alan's thinking.
Do you want me to explain?
I do.
All right.
Okay, I'm going to do the play-by-play here. Okay, and I'd love you to just try to tell me what you think each guy's doing. Okay.
All right. I'll do that.
Okay, if you have any questions for Alan, email us at live@thebike.com. We do appreciate it. Flop is King 8-3, a couple of spades. And nobody really has much of anything. Mo's got a
Nothing.
pair of sixes. He's going to bet. What do you think?
He will. He will definitely. He wants to know where he is.
Yeah, well, he bets 150 into about a $250 pot.
I think that's a good bet.
Yeah, you like that?
Yeah, I like that. I like this, the amount.
Now, George has got nothing. Is George thinking of making a move here?
He may call.
Wow, now George makes a move here. He's going to raise the
He's
self.
going to raise.
Wow. What do you think of that, huh? Now, what can you do with sixes here? I mean, Mo's got pocket sixes.
I think Mo either going to fold, most likely, or he's going to make another move.
Yeah, you think maybe he'll
Go over the
re-raise?
top, go over the top.
I mean, you don't think he's going to call?
No, he's going to move. No, he's not going to call.
So what do you think, fold or raise? What do you do? If you have sixes here, what do you do?
It's kind of 50-50. I would against how I would fold.
Yeah. Well, against Hob, you might fold, but this is against George,
Oh, it's against George.
the Greek poker god.
I would fold also.
Yeah, you fold. I mean, you got sixes. I mean, you really want to go to war. What can you
I got
beat with
2
sixes?
overcards. I'm not gonna.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna fill it.
I mean, even if George has got big spades, right?
Absolutely.
I mean, there's not much you can beat here, huh?
No. I wouldn't. I would lay down.
Yeah.
Unless I'm in a good mood and I'm gonna go over the top. I'm not gonna call for sure.
Right. Okay.
If it was Josh, I would raise him.
If it was Josh, you'd raise him. Huh? Okay.
Yeah.
Now I was going to ask you now. When you sit down at the table, Alan, what's
Yes.
the first thing you think about? What's the first thing you do?
You know what? Every place has some style. Okay.
Right.
I should say I have no style. I play against the player.
You play the player. You're not
I
playing your
don't
cards.
play the cards. I play the player. That's
play
why
the players.
you probably notice sometimes I'm calling with a junky low pair, and sometimes I'm folding a good hand.
And look at this. We're getting Carlos in the game.
Action
Action
Carlos.
Carlos. We're saying goodnight to Lloyd. I guess Lloyd hit a couple of sets and went home. Kind of made his nut and he went home. And Carlos in the game, and that's really going to liven things up, don't you
Yeah,
think?
he's absolutely.
Now, Carlos has picked up pocket 18. He's going to limp in. Actually, no, he's going to raise.
No, he's gonna win.
And he's going to make it, looks like 150.
Very rare he slow plays his hand. He
And
normally.
he makes it 140 to go. Now, he only has, how much money does Carlos have behind him? He's got more chips coming, so maybe he's, what, 2,000 behind? Well, nobody's going to call him. Okay, so you sit down at the table.
Yeah.
After you kind of buy in for your chips, you look at the lineup. And what are you thinking when you look at a lineup? Are you thinking, okay, I'm going to get that guy. I'm going to stay away from him. What are you thinking?
Absolutely. I choose my opponents, how to play with them. That's the first thing I do.
Okay, and if you sat down at this table here, who would be a guy you'd want to kind of get mixed up with? Who's the guy you think who do you think's the fish at the table that you're going to get his money from?
Right now, I would say Carlos would be number 1 and Josh would be number 2.
So Carlos and Josh are probably guys you want to mix it up with. You think maybe you
Absolutely.
can get some money off them.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, you got your money in with the best of it against Josh earlier, but he turned that club on you.
Well, he just, obviously, I had
he
to
sucked
make
out on
that
you.
one. He just sucked on one.
Yeah, now we got pocket aces here for Carlos.
Oh, my God.
Oh, my.
That's going to be, if someone else has something, it's going to be action.
You like the setup here?
I
Probably kind of strange setup.
don't. No, I don't.
You don't like it here?
The setup over there, you mean?
No,
over here?
they are set up in Live at the Bike.
Oh, I thought you were talking. Oh, it's beautiful.
Yeah,
It's
okay.
fantastic. I thought you were talking about lineup. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
I don't like the lineup.
You
It's
don't?
not there. No.
Now, Russ is raising it up with a suited connector. He's got 7-6 diamonds.
Now with Carlos in there, it's gonna get better.
Yeah, and Carlos has got, what's Carlos going to do?
Raise.
Wow, and Carlos immediately makes it $320 to go. Look at him, and he's drinking the beer. Now, if Carlos is really, really deep, you could make this call because if you hate your hand, you could really break him. But the problem is, I don't think Carlos has got enough money for you to make this call.
Is he in right now?
What do you think?
Who? Russ?
Yeah, well, Russ made it 80 to go.
Yeah,
Wow,
and he
and Russ called. His
it.
pot is
Yeah.
going to be $750 to the flop.
Yeah.
And the flop is, oh, my, wow. Flop is 8-4 deuce, couple
Oh
of
my
diamonds,
God.
folks. Russ has got an gut shot straight draw plus the diamond draw. Russ has got 12 outs to the win. Carlos moves all in, and I think Russ is going to have to call him.
He's not gonna go anywhere.
Carlos moves all in for how much? Help me out, Donna. Well, let's count it out. Let's see how much he's
Wow.
got there. I think Russ is going to want to know.
600, 814.
Looks like about 1,600 there. Looks like it's about 1,600. So the pot is now about $2,300. 1,600 to call. What do you do if you're Russ here, Alan?
If I'm against Carlos, it's a tough call, I would say.
I mean,
It
the
would
pot
be a
is
tough call.
2,300, 1,600 to call. You've got if you catch a 5, you got your straight. If you catch a diamond, you got
I
your
would
flush.
I would call.
You call here. You got 12 outs to the winner
I
here.
call here.
And you can see by the odds,
Yeah.
it's 1,600 for about a $2,300 pot. It's not terrible. I mean, you're getting
No.
you're not getting 2-1, but you're not a 2-1 dog here.
Yeah.
I mean, it's one of those cases. If you want to gamble, you know you're up behind. Obviously, with 7 high. If you want to gamble, you go for
Oh
it.
yeah,
Right?
absolutely, absolutely.
And Russ is not going to get involved.
Yeah.
The turn would have been
Let's see.
dealer. Help us out here. And the turn's the king of spades, and the river's the ace, and that changes
Okay.
nothing. Actually, Carlos would have made a set of aces.
So it was a
Carlos
good
would have won it,
laydown.
and Russ would not have made it. That's one of those times where you really could have gambled if you wanted to. But hey, coin
Yeah,
flip,
you
right?
know what? Let me tell you. When you're watching, right now watching, I'm not having the same feeling while I'm playing.
Yeah, you don't get that
when
warm,
you-
fuzzy feeling
Yeah,
inside?
Exactly. When I'm playing, obviously, like I said, mostly I'm playing the player. My cards are not as
You're playing
important.
instincts. You feel the
Yes,
feel, right?
absolutely.
I got you. I mean, I've seen you sometimes almost uncanny. You go, no, let's not run it. I know my flush is coming, and sure enough, boom, it comes.
Yeah.
It's almost like you have a sixth sense. Yeah.
Sometimes it really.
Yeah, like
it really-
almost,
Actually-
almost uncanny. Yeah. I mean, I still remember that time when you had the pocket kings, $25,000 case
Oh my
king on the
God.
river against
Yep,
Cat James
yep.
and Barry Woods and all those guys.
Yeah.
Unreal.
Yeah, it is. It is unreal.
And Mo's going to raise this up, actually. He makes it $70 to go with King 10. Carlos is going to call with King Jack. He's got him dominated, but Mo's in position. And I got to tell you, if you got Mo versus Carlos, Mo in position, my money's on Mo. What do you think?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And there's
my
the king.
God,
Uh-oh.
there's the king.
I got to tell you, that's a terrible flop for Mo. It really is.
It's bad.
Pretty much any other flop, and Mo just probably wins it.
It's
But this is the
terrible.
flop where Mo could actually lose money, and Mo is going to bet $150, and Carlos is going to at least call. No, Carlos raises. Wow. And Mo immediately calls here, and the pot is quickly $780. Turn is a 7 of spades, changes nothing at all. And Carlos, what did Carlos do? They both check it. And the river is a 6, changes nothing. Carlos is going to win this hand. Carlos checks it, and I imagine Mo is probably going to check it also. No! Mo
He's
bets
gonna
it.
bet big.
Wow, and I guess
Yeah.
he's betting for value. I mean, is he betting for value or is he betting as a bluff? And Carlos calls it. And wow, and I just don't understand the bet there by Mo. What do you think?
I wouldn't make that bet, especially against Carlos. He's a player that
He's
you
not
know,
gonna lay down a
he's not-
king.
Exactly. He's got the king. Doesn't matter what the
Wow,
kicker
and,
is. He's
and
not
just
gonna
like
lay
that, I
down.
mean, that was about a $2,200 pot that Carlos wins, and Carlos is on fire.
Yep.
I mean, the only thing you're thinking is maybe Mo is betting the river for value.
No, he knows probably
He's beat.
he's beaten, so he wants to take the pot right there. But you know, first
But
of
can-
all, $600 is not enough, especially for some,
Yeah, but that's
a
the
player
whole
like
thing.
Carlos.
Can you get a hand better than yours? Because Mo had King 10, top pair at 10 kicker. Can you get Carlos to lay down a hand better than yours?
No, unless I move all in, I'm not gonna take that risk against a player like
Yeah.
him.
I don't understand the play.
No, I wouldn't play that way. I
How
mean,
long have you been
Mo is a
playing poker?
great player, obviously. Now I'm watching, but I wouldn't make that move.
Yeah. How long have you been playing poker, Al?
Well, Texas Hold'em not long. About
No limit
probably- No limit Texas Hold'em probably 3 years.
3 years, okay.
But I've been playing poker for since
Long time.
since I was 15 probably.
Yeah.
5-card draw.
Since you were a wee little tyke, huh?
Okay, absolutely. Yeah.
Can we all imagine Alan as a wee little tyke? Little 5'2" Alan running around?
Yep.
Were you the small kid in class growing up?
Small?
Were you the small kid in class growing up?
No.
No, you were big?
No, I was small, of course.
That's
How
what I
could
meant. You were a
be
small
bigger?
kid. That's what I
Of
meant.
course, yeah. I was
Yeah.
a little bit, I had a little bit more,
I need one.
meat on my body, but not, I wasn't this skinny. Probably 20 pounds better when I was young.
You were 20 pounds heavier.
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely.
But you were a late bloomer? Or like a late bloomer where you did you start growing when you were a young guy or when you were older?
Older, I would say.
Older, okay.
I would say older.
Kind of like a little mini me, like a mini
Yeah,
Alan.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, we're going to market that on the website, Live at the Bike, the store. We want to have little mini Allens, mini
Oh.
Allen bobble dolls. I want to use it as a card protector.
Oh my God.
And the guy's going to be a little mini Allen bobbling, and he's going to be holding up 6-3 of hearts.
Oh, you're serious?
Yeah.
That's gonna be funny though. I like to see that.
Ace Queen offsuit here for Hav in the big blind.
All right.
See how he plays it. Get a couple of more hands out of you, a little more color commentary out of you. We'll get you back in the game.
Oh my goodness. That's
And
amazing.
they're not going to play it. Button's going to move over to seat number 3. So do you have any advice for aspiring poker players?
for poker players?
Anybody, we've got a lot of poker players that are listening in. They want to know, hey, man, how do I get into this big game? How do I get to play poker? How can I become a winner? Any advice?
Well, I mean, first thing I think you need to know is not everybody is made for gambling. Okay, you must have the passion for the game.
Yeah.
That's the most important thing. If you're playing with no passion and you're just playing to win money, like you're looking at a business thing, it's different than you're playing for fun and have the passion. So passion is the most important thing. And then you have to figure out how talented you are. Obviously, there are several things involved. Experience, how good, talented you are, and your mathematics, obviously, calculations, and so on.
Now, Mo's going to raise this up with king, queen offsuit, kind of in late position. I don't know if anybody's going to call him. We'll see. Now, let me ask you to be honest about yourself. What would you say the strengths of your game are? I mean, give me the strongest point of your game. What's the best thing about Alan's
The
game?
best thing of my game is, like I said, not having any style, not any solid player. No one knows what I do. Hard to guess.
Never know where you're at. Huh? Unpredictable, Alan.
Unpredictable.
I like that.
Yeah.
Now, no fear, maybe? Fearless?
Absolutely no
Okay.
fear.
Now, what is Alan's weakness? What's the thing that you got to work on? What's the weakest part of your game?
My weakest part is some of the cards that I play that I shouldn't play.
Now, why do you play those cards? I mean, if you know you shouldn't play those cards, why do you play them? I mean, if that's a weakness, that is.
That is a
Impatient?
weakness. But the most important weakness for me would be probably discipline.
Discipline. You lack discipline?
I have, yes. Like when I'm winner, time that I need to get up, I don't. The night that I need to, you know what I mean. That's
yeah, we always talk about discipline. I always talk about that. I say one of the biggest things we have poker players. You can have the best game plan in the world, but if you don't have the discipline to stick to your game plan,
let me tell you this.
it doesn't make a difference. You might as well stick it in your ass.
If I would have a good discipline and get up on the table that I'm supposed to get up, I would be God knows how much ahead.
Now Russ is ahead here. He's got a pair of nines. Josh picks up a pair of sevens here, and Russ is going to bet. And let's see if Josh makes a move here. Well, Josh is gonna call. And we're gonna see a river here. Josh needs a king or a seven. And the river's a 5, doesn't change anything. And Russ is gonna check it. Josh is gonna check as well, and Russ is gonna take down about a $220 pot. So discipline, okay. Well, hey, I mean the first step is being honest with yourself, right?
Absolutely.
Cool. Well, I want to thank you so much.
Thank you
It's
very
been
much.
absolutely fabulous.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, it's been great, man. Thanks a lot. Alan, inside, a poker genius. That's Alan, folks.
Alan, come on here. Without you, there is no game here.
And Mo is calling for Alan. He says, without you, Alan, there's no game. Get back in here. Get back in here. Now, we've got one more guest commentator. We've got about 35 minutes left in tonight's show. We've got one more guest commentator, one more special guy coming in, and it's going to be Hav. It's going to be midnight. Like I said, I mean, he's the one guy at this game where I probably respect his game the most. I think he's the most solid. Seems to once in a while, makes a move. He has the discipline. He has the patience. I really do like his game. We're going to get a raise out of Kirk here. He's got nines. And Josh is going to call with a hand that I just don't like calling raises with King Jack off suit. It's a hand that's easily dominated. It's one of those where you just don't know what you're rooting for. You know, I like when I call a raise, I want to know what I'm rooting for. And in this case, I just don't know. Obviously, 2-pair and trips are nice, but. And here comes the flop, Queen 4-3, and Kirk is going to make continuation bets. He bets $200 into about a $220 pot. And this flop just missed him completely, and Josh is going to throw it away. Once again, if you missed any part of this show, you can watch it again tonight at 11 p.m. We re-show it, and then we show it every 3 hours until tomorrow at 5 p.m. You can also watch the entire week on Sunday, starting at noon. You know, wake up, have some Mother's Day brunch, give your mom a present, and then, I mean, you can only deal so much family there. So then you say goodbye to your family, go to the computer and watch. Play some of those internet poker tournaments and watch the whole week of Live at the Bike. Starts at noon, and it goes all the way through till I want to say, 15 hours of straight Live at the Bike. And there's Farhad. I guess he's next in the game. Maybe Donna will put me on the board. 5-10 and 10-20 will be good.
Good Angelo. Oh, you're in the back, huh? Yeah.
Button moves over to Dr. Beebe in seat number 7.
I will kill you. You told him already, right?
Did you talk trash about George, Al?
And it'll be really funny when George watches the archives and hears what Boston said about him. That'll be really funny. I'm looking forward to that. No, but hey, you got to be honest here. I mean, there have been often times where I've said that this guy sucks, or this guy plays like this, or this guy plays like an idiot, or this guy plays great. You know, and you got to go out and face the music. It's just, hey, it's nothing personal, it's just poker. Brian in the booth there in the box. Carlos with ace, king of diamonds. He's in the big blind. Big hand for him. Oh, pocket kings for Hav. Oh, man, I got to tell you, it could be the night of the Hav. It's the night of the midnight. And Hav is going to raise it. Makes it 160 to go. Big raise. And Carlos is going to at least call. He might even re-raise this. And Carlos is just going to call. And luckily for Carlos, as long as the case king doesn't come out, you imagine Carlos won't get himself in too much trouble. And that's going to bring Josh in. And I got to tell you, I don't mind the call. Josh can hit his 7. If he hits a 7, you wonder he might win a big pot. Flop comes out. Flop misses everybody. It's queen 9-5 rainbow. This is pretty much straightforward here. Check by Carlos, check by Josh. And Hav is probably going to put in about a $500 bet minimum. The pot is about 500.
400.
And he bets 400 into the pot. He bets about 80% of the pot. And it's a crazy night, I'm hearing. Friday night at the bike. Double fist night. But who's double fisted? Bart's in Chicago. And is Josh thinking of making a move here? Josh is thinking of making a move. Wow, and he's making a move. He's not just thinking anymore. And he raises it 800 more. And I got to tell you, Josh would probably play a set of 9s or 5s this way. Now, obviously, he's got a 7s. He doesn't have anything. But this is one of the reasons why you play 7s this way. And look at how, that's the whole thing. Oh, that's awesome. The reason you play 7s is because if you hit your set, you are going to get paid. Hav is not going to get away from it. Hav is going to re-raise you the same way. Obviously, you could have just as easily had 5s there.
Yeah.
And Josh tried to make the move, didn't work. And like I said about Josh, he just can't help himself. He just can't help himself. We got Farhad in seat number 8. He's going to play over Mo. And I got to tell you, how awesome is Hollywood Russ here? Hollywood Russ sends me back here. Nice cigar. Look at that. That's awesome. Thank you, Hollywood. Appreciate it. And George won himself there. What was it? $800, $1,300. The pot was about $1,800. Obviously, about 7 of it was his, but wins himself another 1,000. He goes on. He's a big, big winner tonight. And flop is ace, queen, 7. Couple of hearts out there. And Kirk's got top pair. Nobody else has got much of anything. Turns a 4. She still changes nothing here. And now Kirk is going to throw some money in the pot. And Farhad doesn't need much to stay in there. And he calls. Farhad needs a 4 or an 8. And I imagine Alan's going to throw this away. Once again, like I said, I have no idea what Alan thinks, ever. 2 hearts out there, and Alan's got a gut shot straight draw. Okay. And the river's a queen, changes nothing. You wonder if somebody's going to represent and try to bluff. And is Alan going to put some money in there and try to bluff a queen? And he is. Look at that. And he bets what? 300? And he bets $300 here. He's trying to represent the queen, I guess. Kirk throws it away, and Alan takes himself down there. Look at that. Takes the pot down. Alan playing the players, not playing his cards. I tell you, the myth, the legend. Alan. Exactly. Self-described as the man with no style. I gotta tell you, that 15-minute segment with Alan might have been my favorite ever. That was absolutely hysterical. Oh, I know Boston's still here. I'm sorry, I had more fun with Alan than Boston.
6 players.
Boston's a lot of fun, but nobody tops Alan. Come on, that was great. What's your strength? What's your weakness? Come on. King 10-10 flop out there, and Kirk's got top pair again. Is he going to let himself get? He's going to let him get bluffed off again here. So, and he checks it, and the turn is a 9, and now Farhad's picked up a pair. And Farhad is going to bet it. And Kirk just checked it both times. And what's he going to do here? Is he going to check it? He just folds. Kirk just open folds. I got to tell you, why am I even in the pot with King Queen then? I don't have a problem laying down King Queen. King Queen out of position to garbage hands. And look, Farhad actually would have beaten him. He got there with the ace. Hav actually called with the flush draw and did not get there. And Alan, did Alan? No, Alan didn't call. Hav actually took one off the flush draw there. Now, the only thing I just don't understand, if you're in the small blind with King Queen for $10, why even throw the $10 in there? If you're not comfortable with the flop that comes out King 10-10 and everybody checks it. Why not put some money in there?
I'm going to go tear everybody a new butt.
And we're going to get Hav in the booth here now. We're going to get Midnight coming back.
No hands right now? All right.
Button moves over to seat number 2.
What happened to your hands?
Yeah, let's see if he can criticize the way you play them.
Somebody came back here and stole my damn mints. Oh. I thought one of our guest commentators came back here and actually stole my mints. Boston's trying to swipe our mints, man. I tell you. Unbelievable.
3 players.
Unbelievable. And we got an $80 raise out of seat 8 Farhad. He raised it up with Queen Jack.
200.
Boston's actually trying to claim these are his mints. When Bart bought them last night, I actually even ripped off that little shred there. You see where the plastic's like half ripped off? And Boston's actually going to claim that he bought these mints. How sad is that? Boston, man, you take the mints. It's okay. Jeez, I tell you. Farhad takes it down with a continuation bet. No, they're not yours. They're ours. I'm telling you. That's why you asked me to have a mint, see? And look at that. Now he takes out another box of mints. Yeah, he tries to swipe our mints, I tell you. Anyway, I want to say hi to Midnight. Hav is in the box. How you doing, buddy?
Good, Tuck.
Good to see you, man.
Good to see everyone.
Awesome. Now, you've been in here before, so you're not, you know.
I have, man. This is
old season pro, man.
second nature.
How do you like the game?
Great game.
Okay, so I got to know, man.
6 players.
How hard was your Woody when the guy moves all into your aces there? I mean, come on. How does that guy not get away from it?
All right. Bert, you know what he said. I don't know if you guys could hear it on the mic. Is he was stuck about 3 at that point.
Carlos has got the ace of spades here. He's going to bet it.
Of course he is. Are you kidding?
Well, he's got a pair with the
And
ace of spades.
yeah.
I mean, that's a pretty big hand. Why
Yeah,
not?
of course,
In
why
late
not?
position, and he's going to take it down. So go ahead. What did Bert say? I'm curious.
Anyway, so he said he was stuck and he was. I thought he was going to lay it down. I was so surprised. I mean, he's in there for $500, and I raised him another $2,800.
I mean, George and I actually thought you overplayed it in the sense that we thought you could have smooth called there. In
I
position,
thought about it.
And then moved in on the. Then when he bets the flop, move in.
Well, the way I looked at it was like if we were both real deep, he only had about another 2,500.
Right.
So if we each had about 7, 8, 9,000 in front of us, I would have smooth called it.
Right.
But I figured, look, if he's got a big pair, he's already in there for 500. Bert likes to gamble. I played with Bert before, and
A couple of big hands here. We got pocket kings for your buddy George in seat 5, and ace queen of diamonds for Farhad. Now ace queen of diamonds, that might as well be aces.
for Farhad.
For Farhad, yeah.
Are you kidding?
Now look at this. Now Farhad raised it. He made it 100 to go, and seat 2, Kirk is going to call with king 10. And if you're George here, I think you got to re-raise it, right?
Have to. The funny thing is when I left, he goes, "Great, now I'm going to get your hands right."
There you
I'm
go.
like, there you go, man. You can't complain.
And he's made it how much? Help us out here, somebody. Looks like 280.
280.
280. Okay. And Kirk is going to throw it away. And we're going to see this heads up here. The pot is about $600, 640 actually. Flop comes out.
Wow.
Uh-oh. That is a magical flop for George because he's going to make a lot of money here.
Absolutely. Farhad's not getting away from this.
I mean, not many players would they? I mean, it's a nice flop.
Against George?
But at this table though, I'd say half the table gets away from it, half the table doesn't.
All right, absolutely. No, Farhad's not going to get away from it. But against a guy like George, you figure, what could he be raising with? Queens, kings?
Yeah, no. Well, I'll put it this way: when he comes back at you, you got to know you're dead.
Big time. But I don't think Farhad's going.
I mean, there's no
anywhere.
draw out there. I mean,
Oh.
you wouldn't put George on King Jack here, obviously.
No.
And
Especially since he raised it. He
now
raised
I want to see now. Farhad bet $400. Now George is on the button, and George is going to immediately raise it. And how much is he raising?
I guess another 800,000. That's
1,400.
Another 1,400.
All in, call.
And all in, and it's an all-in call, and all the money is in. I want to see how much money it is.
I know.
Oh, he picks up a diamond draw. Diamond Cubs. I swear to God, George is going to
George
lose.
is going to flip the table.
Okay, no.
And no. He
Oh
takes it
man,
down.
I saw it.
George would have flipped the table.
Oh, he would have just flipped it.
No, he
over.
would have. He
Oh,
would've.
no doubt. And George, I think George had Farhad covered. I'm not sure how much money Farhad had.
I think George started the hand with about 3,300.
And Farhad only had about 2,500 more.
Yeah, so it's
wow,
covered.
that pot. We're talking about
6,200.
Yeah, actually, I mean more actually.
6,100.
Plus the
because
money,
there
the
were-
400 and the money before free flop. We're talking about a $6,500 pot
Yep.
that George just took down, and you weren't lying, man. He got your cards.
Told him. The guy's like, so now I'm going to get your cards, right? I'm like,
That is
enjoy,
beautiful. I got to
enjoy.
tell you, man. It's beautiful when you get a player to hit top pair. You have an overpair, and he pays you off the whole way. Now, obviously, that turn card gave
Scared.
a lot of outs. Ace, a queen, or a diamond.
A lot of outs.
George had to sweat it there.
He did, but
And
he's
somebody
patient.
color up those brown chips.
You know, the thing he was saying today is he's going to play really patient. He's going to wait for hands because he's been trying to do some things here and there.
Making some moves.
Yeah, and you know, you got to do that sometimes. You have
course,
to change
of
it
course.
up a little bit, but
Made a nice move on Mo before where he
he
had
did 6-4, I think.
Yeah, he had. I think he had a 6-5. He had 6 high or something. And Mo actually had a pair of sixes.
Mo said he had a pair of 9s.
Yeah, he had sixes. Couldn't
Yeah.
beat anything, and they threw it away.
Nice.
And George takes it down with nothing. Nice pot there for George.
Yeah, that was a good.
Now, I asked everybody this question. I got to ask you.
Okay.
First off, are you a professional poker player now?
You know, I don't know. I guess in the terms of, I mean, you know, if you define.
Do you make the majority of your money playing poker?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. So, but I just it's a hard thing for me to consider myself professional anything. No, really. I mean,
I get it.
you know, it's. There you go. There you go.
Okay, I got a question here. Adam actually was going to ask a question for Alan,
Okay.
but I'll just throw it at you. He goes, okay.
All right.
He says, hey, I'm wondering if you guys watch the archives, and if so, do you keep written notes on the players you play against?
I don't write notes, but I'm pretty good up here.
You're taking some mental notes.
Absolutely. I mean, like I didn't think Bert would call that hand, but there I knew there was a possibility that he would with. I
The way
thought he
Bert
had
plays.
kings, absolutely. So.
Yeah.
I mean, but people have been changing their games. I mean, you know, if you look at Russ over the last 4 or 5 months,
Oh, he's a completely different guy.
it's a completely different person.
Now, Russ is going to raise this up on the button. He makes it $130 with ace-king, and you know Alan's going to at least call this, and he does. And Josh is going to call a jack-9 offsuit.
Wow.
Josh is just pure action.
Big time action.
He cannot help himself but the bluff. Flop comes out 6, 7, 8, and is Josh going to get involved? And Alan's got an overcry pair. And Alan's going to bet 200. I like the bet. He wants to see where he's at
He's
right
going to
away.
get a call for sure.
And he gets a call here, and if you're Russ, you lay it down right away? I mean, it's an ugly flop for ace-king, isn't it?
You have to lay that down.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, you miss you completely.
I
and
mean,
Russ
you
goes
might, you might peel one off if it's one person, but then you got a caller.
But Alan rarely bets unless he's got something.
Absolutely.
Turns a deuce, and if Alan bets here again, and I imagine he is, the pot now is about pot's about $750.
I think Josh
And he
is going to
bets.
get away from this. 500.
You think Josh is going to get? I think Josh is going to raise.
Really?
I think he's going to raise or call. Calls, okay.
Wow.
And the pot is $1750. And the turn, oh man!
That's
and the
sick.
river's a jack.
That's
and
absolutely
obviously,
sick.
you know, Josh had some outs there. He could have caught a jack. He could have caught a 10. He could have caught
Absolutely.
a 5. The 9 was no good, obviously. And Alan's going to bet $600 into a $1,700 pot. And I think Josh is going to call this now.
Absolutely call. Plus a short stack. Yeah.
Yeah, and Josh is going to win himself about a $2,300 pot. Oh man, poor Alan.
Poor Alan. I got a feeling you're going to hear about it at the table too.
Yeah. And Alan's
But,
pissed off.
You know, you can't fault Alan. I think he played it right. You
No,
know?
he did. You know, he
just got unlucky.
Obviously, an incorrect call there on the turn by Josh. I mean, I don't think you can call. You're getting 3-1 on the river on the turn with one card to go.
That's why I really thought he might lay that down, but then he did call Bert's all in with an ace-7.
Yeah.
But the
Tried
way
to
that
make a
hand
move
went
on
down,
you with kings, obviously, and you
yeah,
have kings.
I figured he probably had bottom pair or something.
Yeah, he had a pocket pair, actually.
Okay, all right.
We got another chip count here. We got $28,000 on the table now. Hov's got the most.
Who's that?
Doing pretty well, man.
Not bad, huh?
9,000 covering the table. Mo's got the table. Well, Mo's gone actually. That's actually Farhad with 1,000. George has got 6,400. Let's see how they're doing. Hov, you're probably the big winner, man.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, I
You're
got
killing the table. You're up 6,000.
6, someone 6.
Not bad, man.
Not bad. Not bad. But, I mean, how hard were those hands to play? I mean,
Yeah, I know,
I think
man.
I made a couple moves, but
You did. You made a couple
nice
nice
moves.
moves. George up 3,400. Mo down 3,000 now.
Wow.
Actually, that's Farhad's down 3,000. But Mo's also down now because we saw him make a couple of bad plays against
Yeah,
Carlos.
I think it's down about 500-600 maybe.
Yeah, Carlos is up 1,000, and our big loser is actually Bert. He's down what you're up.
And then immediately when Bert left, UC seat 1 flopped a full house, got aces once.
Set after set after set he hit.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable.
And that was a rough way for him to go out. He flopped a set of jacks. And then Russ was
Yeah.
kind of committed to the pot. There was really nowhere for him to go. He had a gut shot. And then
Yeah.
a flush draw. He's not going anywhere.
I tried to point out, I go, a lot of times we look at it when we're running bad, we go, man, I got such a bad beat. I had a set of jacks. But you don't realize that, well, what happened to the first $6,000 you blow off?
Yeah.
When you made a bad call with queens and you made a bad play with ace-8 when you're
Ace eight.
steaming.
Absolutely. I think that's the toughest part of poker, to be honest with you.
Yeah, seat 5 actually made it $80, and everybody just smooth called this. And that's George. Now, Russ has actually flopped. He's flopped top pair. He's got a top pair plus the open-ended straight draw. And George is the raiser with king queen. He's going to check it. Imagine Russ is going to put some money in there.
Absolutely.
300.
Okay, now I've asked everybody. I don't think anybody's going to call this.
Okay.
Unless Josh calls it with the bottom end of the ass end, now he's not going to call. When you sit down at the table, man, what's the first thing you do? What's the first thing you look at? What's the first thing you surveying your players, chip stacks? What are you looking for?
You know what? I don't want to be the big stack at the table. I mean, I'm not one of those guys who likes to cover the table. I try to come in for, probably an average size stack. Like in this game, I started with 3. And some people started with 4, some 5, some 2. And then I like to know my lineup. I'm not one who likes to go into a game and, you could figure it out after a couple rounds who does what type players. But,
Right.
that's kind of what I look for. Who am I playing with? There's such an advantage to knowing your players.
Yeah.
Why not take advantage of those?
Now, what kind of game do you like better? This game is a little bit more of a passive lineup, not too much big raising and stuff. You can be in there in the big stack. You don't really have to worry about losing it, because nobody's really going to be, putting you to the test all night.
Right.
Or do you prefer a game with like a Jason Constantani and a Mike Corporation Mike, where your swings are going to be bigger, but you might make more money?
Well, myself, from the way I play, I don't like to have a lot of loose guys at the table because I feel like I can see more hands in a game like this. I might be able to make a move here and there in a game like this. But, I play with Jason and Jay and Mike a lot too. But to be honest, if I had my choice between having 2 guys like that in this game and this game, I'll take this game 10 out of 10 times.
This game, it's going to be tough for you to lose money in this game. And look at this flop for Russ, man. Russ has got it. Gut shot, straight flush draw.
Yeah,
Obviously the straight draw and the flush draw. Now, Farhad's got top pair. And this is a big flop for Russ. Now, he is behind, obviously, but he has 12 outs to the winner. He can catch a
You got to
4
raise this hand.
or a spade. Now, the only thing is there's no value to the raise. There's no fold equity.
Well, but Farhad's not going anywhere either.
Right. And they're going to get it all in
Yeah,
here.
plus it was only another 1,000,
Yeah.
so he's going to call it
And this is
anyway.
pretty much a race now. And this pot is going to be about a $2,000 pot. There's
And
a
there it
spade.
is, right up.
But Farhad's got the ace of spades. He does have redraw, but he
No.
doesn't get there. 9 of hearts. And Russ is going to take down what turns out to be about an $1,800 pot. And Farhad quickly down, I want to say close to $4,000.
About 4,000, yeah.
And you can't blame him on this one either. He's got ace king here.
Now, what are you going to do? He's just
both
walking into
times.
hands, walking into big hands and draws.
Yeah,
What's
the
he gonna
ace
do?
queen hand, obviously, he called a big raise with ace queen, which can get you in trouble. And then sure enough, you got a kind of a cold deck flop.
I think you got to look at the player you're playing against too. I think you can get away from that hand.
Yeah, against George, I think you need to.
You got to put him on queens, kings, or aces.
If you have any questions for Hav, feel free to email us at live@thebike.com. Let us know.
Let me give a shout out to my brother-in-law. He's up in the Bay Area watching.
Well, here you go. Here's a question for Hav. We got one from Adam here. Yeah, here you go. I want to know how you keep your discipline while you're playing, man. What do you do while you're playing? Here, how do you spend your time during the game? Are you busy putting players on hands, even when you're not in the hands? So forth and so on. How do you keep your discipline? Obviously, that's a big part of the game.
That's one of the things I pride myself on. I try not to go on tilt. It's one hand out of 100 hands you're going to see that night or more. So I think that's one of the. You really have to be in control of your emotions, and then the rest of the stuff you really need to pay attention to what's going on at the table. I used to listen to music every now and again, but I like to think I can multitask. I keep an eye on what's going on at the table, but at the same time, there's so much happening. Quirks people have, how they play with their chips, how they make their
You can
bets.
really pick up on some stuff.
Of course you can, and if you look for things like that, over the course of a night, you could take pots away from people. There are so many different things you can go do. So I think you really need to pay attention to what's going on at the table.
I mean, I've often pointed out, I go, let's say your hourly rate in this game is, say, $50 an hour, just as an arbitrary number. I think if you read a magazine, you can cut that 20% down. You listen to your iPod, cut another 20% down.
Easily.
And I got to tell you, I made a ton of money. I'm not, buy an iPod, please. I have Apple stock.
Yeah,
please, buy an Apple. Buy friggin' iPods.
I had 2 of them.
But, there's a time and place to use them. I actually really got on Jennifer. You know Jennifer, obviously, the girl who used to prop here?
Yes.
And she actually wrote an article to new players. She goes, hey, if you're new to the game, you should be buying an iPod and listen to it. And I always say, I go, no. If you're new to the game, really try to sit there and focus on every single hand.
Absolutely. There's so much going on that if you're sitting, I think your average player really doesn't pick up on. I think that's what separates, people who are pros and then amateur players. It's just.
Now, we're going to see this 3 ways here. Now, Russ has actually flopped a straight. Carlos has got top pair, and Farhad's got middle pair. And Russ is actually, he's going to raise it up here, and Farhad's going to quickly call. Wow. And this pot is quickly. The pot was already, I want to say this pot is about $600 now. Turn is a king of clubs, and now Russ's hand is just getting better. But Farhad's actually got the flush draw.
Absolutely, a bigger draw.
And it checks around. How did that check around? Oh, my God, I cannot believe it.
Russ trying to induce a bet.
Jack of spades. Oh, man, you got to bet your hand, though.
That's the second time in the last couple of days I've seen Russ.
And now he gets away from it. And you know what? If he bets 400 on the turn, Farhad's definitely going to call with a pair and a flush draw.
Absolutely.
And now both players throw it away, and Russ just wins the pot. He wins about $600.
I think that's one of the major faults that. I'm not to pick on Russ or anybody.
Go ahead, man.
But I think you have to bet your hands. You just have to, because you never know what that guy has.
You got the nuts in the hand against Carlos and Farhad.
2 of the guys at the table that you want.
Who are going to pay you off with just top pair.
Absolutely.
Insane. And Mo's over in seat 9. Alan's throwing a temper tantrum in the parking lot, so he's going to take a break. Okay, now I got to ask you this.
Ask.
And this is politically incorrect, okay?
That's all right.
We're honest here.
I'll take it. We're on
You're
the
sitting at the table.
Right.
I know sometimes you pick players you want to play against, and you pick players you're going to avoid, right? Obviously, we all do.
Spot. I like it.
We all do, right?
I like it, right?
You're sitting down at this table, man. Who do you want to play against? Who do you want to get in your
You want names. You don't want specific names of people you want to.
You can give me the seat number. I'll tell the names if you want to do that.
Awesome. That's great.
What do you mean?
I'll tell you what.
Carlos has got an overpair here. Look at this flop.
These are 2 of the guys right here.
Okay, Farhad and Carlos.
Farhad, I love it. Because the thing is, you're going to catch a bad beat every now and again, but you're going to get paid on your big hands as long as you're betting them.
And you look at this now. Carlos is going to bet it, and Farhad's going to quickly call. And this pot is quickly $700. The turn is a 10, and Farhad was actually a favorite on the flop.
Yeah.
Not anymore, though. And the king of spades on the river, it went check, check, and it's going to go check, check again. And Carlos is going to win this with 5s up, 5s and 4s. King kicker, your best 5 cards play. Okay, so those are 2 guys you want to mix up.
Yeah, those. You know what? But like I said, I like to have, and not that I want to play them like heads up and stuff, but I like to have them. I like to have those guys in the game that I know where I stand and kind of what they're thinking, because you can figure. I'll take a couple of action players, we'll call them, and then the rest of the table, I want mirror images of myself almost. I mean, that's an ideal table for me.
You know where you're at, right?
That's
exactly.
an ideal table for me.
You don't need to make money off all 6 guys.
No, and
no limit hold'em is different than limit hold'em. Limit hold'em, I always point out to players. The limit hold'em, you need really 3 bad players in a game to make a game.
Absolutely.
No limit.
I like to call them action players.
Okay, there you go.
All right.
Creative players. How's that?
Yes, absolutely.
Creative players. No limit. You can make money off 1.
Off 1 player.
1 player can make a game.
Absolutely. I mean, why would you want to play on the table with 9 super tight guys? It's like that scene out of Rounders where they all show up and know each other.
Now, Carlos raised it up at ace-10 offsuit, and he takes it down. Now, is there a player you might sit... Now, not necessarily this game, but I'm going to throw it at you in the whole casino. Is there a player you might avoid? Like, you sit down at this table, you go, man, you know what? I don't need to get involved with a hand with this guy because I'm not going to make any money off this guy.
Right.
He's pretty tricky. Is there a guy like that?
I got to tell you, Mo is one of those guys.
Okay.
I really respect his game a lot. And I know he makes moves every now and again, but everyone does. I mean, we all do, but I really like the way he mixes his game up. And, there are times where it's really hard to put him on a hand. And I know there have been times where I've been in a hand with him, and I've actually had the inferior hand, but he'll get away from a hand. He can get away from, like the other day, for example. He turned a set, and I represented a straight.
Wow, BB's raising this up in the small blind with ace-8 of hearts.
That's a new BB.
Yeah, that's a... Should work here, but you know what, though? You wonder if Farhad doesn't really pay attention. He's going to call it Jack-4 clubs.
It's Dimitri's twin. It's not going anywhere. Anyway, so he got away from a set. I mean, you got to lay. Absolutely. Right. So, I have a lot of respect for his game. A lot of respect for his game.
3 players.
Oh, 3 players. Russ calls as well.
Flop is here is 10-8-3, and wow, you know what?
Farhad's the flush draw again.
Yeah, well, BB's got the best hand here, and he's going to follow through and bet this. It's not real deep. Now, would Farhad ever raise on a draw?
Okay, look at this. He only has another 300 in front of him.
Would he ever raise on a draw there? No?
I mean, you got
If he moves in, BB's folds, right?
Folding, and if not, you still have 9 outs.
Obviously, against
turns out to be 8. Well, he got there.
And he gets there. And Russ overcalled with Queen 9? Mm-hmm. Wow, now Russ had a gut shot straight draw. I'm surprised he overcalled here. Especially Dr. BB's bet here. Now BB's going to continue betting here. And imagine obviously Farhad's going to move it all in. He's only got about, 400 left, 300 left?
Yeah, he's going all in, no doubt.
He's got 300 left, he's going to move all in. If you're BB, can you lay it down for only 100 more?
No, he's going to call.
If it's 100 more, the pot is about 1,000.
Yeah, he's going to call.
Yeah.
I mean, you're getting 10-1 on your money.
Yeah, we got about $1,100 pot here.
Easy call.
BB is drawing dead.
Well, Farhad got that. It's nice. I mean, you gotta push the guy.
No, obviously, I know you're rooting for Farhad to win the pot. I know everybody at the table wants Farhad to win the pot.
Yeah.
If the money goes to Dr. BB, it's not coming out.
Nope.
So Mo is one you might have played.
Yeah, at least I know, like I said, I know where I respect this game that much. But if I come to a game, I see 8 Mo's, I mean, I'm not going to sit into that game. I'm just,
I'm with you, man.
It just doesn't make sense. I mean, you have such an advantage to knowing your players. And I really look at a game. When I come into a card room, I look around and I look at a table, and if I think I can, I don't muscle around a table anyway. That's just not my game. But, I'll look for a good lineup. I mean, it's such an advantage to you as a player.
Well, I always try to point out to our viewers, I go, the biggest thing is being honest with yourself.
Absolutely.
Trying to basically knowing what kind of player you are and what kind of game fits you the best. And then you can look for that kind of game.
Absolutely.
Some people always say, oh my God, what a good game. It's got Jay Katsutani and it's got Mo and it's got, that might not be the best game for you.
No,
this might be the best game for you. And you've got to obviously go back and forth. Now, George has got an ace deuce here. Not a big fan of that hand, but hey, it is the best hand here. We always point out with those weak aces, you either win a small pot or lose a big one.
Yeah. I mean, what do you hope to flop? Ace, deuce? But I think he knows that as well. I think what he's playing is, and, George and I are buddies, so I'm not, fluffing it up for him. But
he's in position,
he's been playing super tight all day, and he also knows that he might be able to represent something.
Oh, definitely. And in this case here, he's in position. Carlos was tortured with a king 10. I mean, he had nothing. No pair, no draw.
And he wanted to call that so bad.
Oh, he did?
Yeah, I'm not a fluffer. That's what I said. I don't fluff. Those are
Even
for our adult films. Those are for our adult guests.
Yeah.
Well, we do what we can to keep it entertaining, right?
Yeah, exactly. Hey, if we have to go to fluffing for this show,
man,
get our ratings up, we'll do it.
Well, you got a second room back. Boston's back here. What's he doing?
Exactly, man. Hey.
Boston make a little money on the side, huh?
I got to tell you, man. Bart likes to rub himself with shredded wheat.
Oh, I heard a conversation about olive oil and shredded wheat today.
Yeah, so I picked up our new sponsor now is here at Shredded Wheat.
Nice.
Bart likes to actually. It's weird. Most people use this shredded wheat as cereal, right?
Yeah.
No, Bart. He dips it in olive oil.
Okay, all right.
I mean, what the hell is that?
Take a picture and put his face on the box of that. Maybe you can get a sponsor.
I was thinking we could, man. I don't know.
Jeez.
See what happens.
What do we got here?
Ace, Queen, 9 there. Top pair for Allen. Jacks for Russ, and they pretty much go in flames here.
And Farhad picked up a pair.
Yeah, Allen had checked it on the flop, and it checked around. Now Farhad picks up a pair.
I thought we lost Allen.
We did for a second. He came back.
Well, sat down for a minute.
And I think if you're Russ, you got to throw this away here.
Have to. Yeah, 2 overs. Unless you're setting up a play on the river, but Allen's not getting. If Allen's betting,
There are guys who can make a living. I mean, like BB, I might make a play on BB. Kirk, I might make a play on BB Kirk.
Yeah.
Allen, the way I make money off Allen is value betting.
And look at this.
And Farhad's going to overcall here.
Overcall.
And a lot of cards for Allen to dodge. He's got to dodge a jack, a 6, or a 7 to win this. And a 3 of spades, can somebody represent backdoor spades? I mean, is that something you might think about?
Or are you spade, I guess.
Well, Allen's going to put kind of a blockish kind of a stop bet almost, right?
I mean, you and I know. Allen comes out firing, run for a door.
Yeah.
Okay, I mean.
Although Allen will bluff on the river when he misses his draw.
Yeah.
It's the only time he'll bluff.
But he's betting from jump.
Yeah.
The turn he bet. He raised a pre-flop.
It's very obvious.
Or Russ raised a pre-flop and Allen called.
Yeah.
I mean.
I want to thank everybody that joined us on our 2+2 thread. Sorry I wasn't really able to keep too much track of that. Unfortunately, like I said, I'm here by myself. Kind of a slow night over there in 2+2 land.
Not a lot of love.
Sounds like we got a couple more hands left. And Russ has got jacks again.
Back to back. Back to back.
Back to back flag. Pocket 8s for George. And you think George maybe puts in a little raise here?
No, I think he's going to smooth call.
Well, it makes it 70.
Oh, Russ hasn't. Okay.
Yeah,
Right.
George
he's
actually
in
made it
position
70 in early position. And Russ is going to smooth call. That's going to bring Carlos in with 4s.
Oh, could have bet $400. Carlos is
Kirk's got jack, nothing. I don't know. He throws it away. And Josh, I mean, 3 people in there. Josh is going to call with any 2 cards. And sure enough, he's in there with Queen 6 diamonds. And this flop this is going to be about a $300 pot now to the flop. And it's 7-5 deuce, and is George going to get in trouble? Actually, it's Carlos going to get in trouble, but it's not a bad flop for 4s either, is it?
It's not a bad flop for 4s, 8s, and it's definitely not a bad flop for jacks.
And you imagine George is going to put in a nice, like, say, $250 bet here?
He's got it. He's going to find out where he is. I mean, he's got.
Now, what does he do when
callers.
Russ just calls, though?
You know, I
What
think
do you
you'll
do
see
here?
a check on the turn from George. I think you'll.
I mean, is that how you play it? I mean, would you bet your 8s here?
You know, I would. I probably would. Absolutely. But
I mean,
then
2 spades out there, you can't let a free card come off.
Well, I mean, you're going to see a raise here from Russ. I mean, if he just smooth calls this, I'd be surprised because there's somebody can be open-ended. You got a flush
And look at a big raise by Russ here.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the information George is looking for.
I got to tell you, man, sometimes I don't like to come in that much money with jacks. You got to realize that couldn't George be in there with queens?
Absolutely.
And George put out about a $250 bet, and it looks like Russ has made it 400 more.
Wow.
And actually, it was 350 more. And George calls. And it was 450 more, I'm sorry.
Huh.
And the pot is quickly, actually, no, I'm sorry, it was 400 more. The pot is quickly
So George made it
$1,200.
3 something and George.
Actually, 1,300. Oh, man, and the turn is a 3, and that changes nothing.
No.
And George is going to bet again.
Wow.
I
I
gotta
got to
tell
tell
you,
you, I'm a little surprised at that.
At this point with jacks, aren't you scared? I mean, are you almost
I
in
would
call
be.
mode?
I would
What
be.
can you beat? I mean, you can only beat 10s, 9s, and 8s, right?
Absolutely.
You can't beat 7s. You can't beat 5s. You can't beat queens, kings, or aces.
No.
Now, the old Russ might have folded this, but this one's going to call. And how
I
big
think
was
the
that
old
bet?
Russ would have 800.
800, so that was 1,600. This pot is about 3,000,
Wow.
and the river's a deuce. And I got to tell you, man, George, at this point, he's got to realize he's behind. I mean, I don't think Russ is making these calls with ace
You know,
7.
I'm completely surprised. I thought George would have definitely checked the turn.
And
Getting
George
called.
bets how much? 1,200,
Yeah, it's
and Russ
gonna
is going
call
to
right
immediately
away.
call. And Russ is going to win this with just 1 pair of jacks.
Wow.
And, man, I got to tell you, I know he's your buddy, but he
I don't like the way
overplayed
he played
eights
that hand.
terribly
I got
bad.
to tell you, I don't like the way he played that hand.
And I got to look at Russ's hand. I mean, he almost overplayed it, too.
Absolutely.
You know, a lot of money. I mean, that pot ended up being $1,200 on the river, $2,400. You're talking about a $5,500 pot with 1 pair of jacks.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah, I'm surprised at that. I'm really surprised the way that hand went down.
Now, when you
didn't get a re-raise. I mean, you had a small re-raise from. I think that's kind of.
What can you beat with 8s?
Well, this is the thing too. Is with 8s, George bet about 360, and he got the min bet. I mean, that's.
You got re-raised 400 more.
And he had bet I think 3 something. Is that
Right.
Right. So that's almost a min raise, right?
You got to realize, man, what the heck? Can you
That's why I'm so surprised. I really thought he would have checked it on the turn.
I mean, I got to on the river. I think you check it. I think on the river you got to realize the pot is now $4,000. I think both players check.
Yeah, absolutely.
George, I think Russ is happy to check it down.
Absolutely. Yeah, like I said, even before he made that bet on the turn, I was really surprised he put money in there on the turn. He got called in a spot.
Yeah. I mean, the bet on the river. I mean, if Russ was in there with spades, If he missed it, well, then you check and deuce the bluff. Because you can't get a better hand to lay it down at that point. The pot's too big.
I agree.
Yeah, okay.
I agree.
I think we got a raise here. Ace-Jack out of seat number 2. Actually, I'm sorry, King-8 of clubs. No, just King-8 off suit. Wow,
Kurt,
Kurt's
it's
really...
fair.
Yeah. In the small blind. And George is going to call with Ace-Jack. Russ is not going to get involved with Ace-Jack. And that was a big pot for one pair of jacks.
Huge pot. Huge pot.
And the flop comes out. Wow, what a flop. King-8 queen. Turns a 9, and George has got a straight draw here. He needs a 10 for the straight.
You're going to see a muck here, I think.
I imagine so, unless he's tilting.
Which could be possible.
Now, as much as you do have the discipline and you pride yourself on that, George, if there's one part of George's game that he needs to work on, is his emotional control.
We talk about that a lot, too.
Yeah.
And the thing is he knows it.
Yeah.
That's the tough thing.
I mean, I was going to talk to you about it, because, I mean, obviously, having a friend, obviously it's important to have friends in the poker world where you guys can bounce things off each other.
Absolutely.
And when you see him make a play like that with 8s, I mean, you talk to him about that? You
Yeah,
tell
my
him?
stomach is turning, and I'm going to have a talk with him about it later.
Yeah.
And you know what? He'll
And he
tell
takes
you.
down, Cook's gonna
I think
take
later, which he should. I mean, Ace-Jack.
Well, man, that's going to do it. That was the last hand of the night. What a Friday night live at the Pike. I want to thank everybody that joined us. We had Alan in the booth. We had Boston in the booth. We had Hav in the booth.
Russ.
Am I forgetting somebody? Russ. We had George. Great poker god. I want to thank
come
everybody.
in or no?
Bert did not come in. Bert was gone before I even got him.
Well, I can tell you why.
Yeah. Anyway, I want to thank you all for watching us. Next Monday, Limit Hold'em. Have a good weekend. For David Tuckman and everybody else in the booth, happy Mother's Day.
Yeah, happy Mother's Day, Mom.
Later.
And all the moms.
Peace out.
It's here. It's big. And it's closer than you think. It's not a tournament. It's what you don't see on TV. The cash is real. The stakes are high. They bet big. They win big. They lose big. High stakes live action poker. Live at the Bike. Watch it live on the web or play it if you dare at the Bicycle Casino right here in Los Angeles.